Hello, hello. Happy Friday. I hope you guys can hear me. If you are watching the replay, just skip ahead about 4 minutes. I'm going to do a quick little bit of setup and also give it some time to let people get logged in. So when I start, just skip ahead about 4 minutes and then we'll get started. Hope you guys are doing super awesome. Hello, somebody is having Kundalini. Tell me about it. What's happening? What's happening with that Kundalini? You're feeling some surges of energy? Go in depth. Yeah, tell me what's going on. What's happening? All right. And everybody, if you're just joining, as per usual, just give me about another 3 minutes and we'll get started. I'm just doing a little bit of setup. Hey, you don't have to go super in depth about your Kundalini. Just hit the high points. But I'd be interested to hear what you think you're experiencing. Somebody says that they're in the middle of it right now. That was cool, man. I'll never forget when that happened. It was weird. It was awesome. It was awesome, but yeah. Guys, if you're just joining us, as always, just give me a few minutes. I'm just doing a little bit of setup, and then we'll get started. Hope you guys are having a good Friday. Let's see. One of these days, I'm going to get StreamYard. I promise. Probably sooner rather than later. StreamYard's cool. I can display people's comments on the screen, and it does a lot of this setup for me automatically. So that'll be nice. It's just a more professional appearance. And I've decided to make these live streams a permanent part of how I'm doing YouTube. So I might as well, get something like that. It'll be a nice thing to have. Okay, I think that's everything that we need there. Let me open up this. Whoops, come on. Come on, YouTube. Why is it doing that? That's weird. Come on. Okay. I think it's working. I think we're working. Huzzah. What is it? 4 minutes, almost 4 minutes on the nose. And we're getting ready to roll here, everybody. Let me just flip this around. That's another thing about doing it from my phone is if I use the front facing camera, it puts everything backwards. So yeah, I think we're going to be getting StreamYard pretty soon, guys. I have some other projects that I got wrapped up finally. Oh, someone gave me a super chat. Thank you. They said, gracias, de nada. De nada. Yeah, I wonder. Oh man, the barber really did a number on my head. Look at that. Dude, what did he do? You guys see that? Here, it's like right here. Oh my God. That's okay. That's what I get for being bald. But yeah, Pamela, are you joining us from my new Spanish YouTube channel? Is that what's happening? Because, you know, that thing's really going. I've got almost 500 subscribers over there now, everybody. And I've got my Spanish website built out. It's all finally done. I want to upgrade it at some point in the future to make it to look more like my existing English website, but it's good. It's good. It's a good basic website. It's functional. It's all in Spanish. It'll take you directly to the Spanish coaching system. I've got all the translation tools in place. So the Zoom calls, we do Zoom calls 4 times a week. And I have the closed captioning translations. So Zoom, I pay a little bit of extra money to have it where if you even just have a basic like free Zoom account, it'll translate for you. And there could be somebody talking. So I'm talking in English and then somebody else is talking in Japanese and I'm reading them in Japanese. And there could be a Spanish speaker reading both of us in Spanish. Like it'll do that. It'll translate all the languages. And then you just pick whatever language you want to read it in. And then if you listen to the replay, it'll translate the whole thing for you too. It'll have a whole transcript translated. It's awesome. It's awesome. I've got the whole coaching system translated into Spanish in my voice. So that's the thing. For those of you that didn't know I have that going on, I've got a whole system, YouTube. I'm going to have TikTok soon, my coaching, my paid coaching, all of it is in my voice. So I'm using artificial intelligence to translate all of my content into Spanish, but it does it in my voice. Pretty cool. And I got my masterclass done. So if any of you have ever watched my masterclass, the whole thing is in Spanish now. Even all the pictures and the testimonials and all of it. And the email system, if any of you are subscribed to my emails. Oh, that's another thing. If you guys are watching, you should subscribe. Just subscribe to my email system. You're going to get marketing emails too, but I've been cranking out like editorial quality written twin flame content on there, you guys. Pretty cool. I've been really hard at it with the writing. And that's most of what you're going to get with my emails. So you'll get like free, information delivered right to your inbox. If you want to do that, where would you go? Let me see here. If you want to sign up for that, where is it? Oh, I know where it is. Here it is. So I've got can I do it there? Here, I'll put this link in the chat. If you're watching the replay and the chat stream isn't quite showing yet, so you don't see the link that I just put, just go to my website and go to the Twin Flame page. So you go to my homepage, newworldallstar.com, and then you go to the Twin Flame section. You scroll down and you'll see it, the introduction to the journey for Twin Flames. And then you scroll all the way to the bottom and there's the email sign up. If you're watching me in Spanish right now, just sign up for the masterclass. Just go to the homepage of my Spanish YouTube channel and sign up for the masterclass. and you'll be automatically added to it. It takes about a week for you to get added, so you'll get all of the emails for my master class for about 6 days, and then a week later you'll be added. I should add a sign up to the bottom of my Spanish page. Anyway, you guys, you don't want to listen to me talk about this stuff. You want me to answer your questions. Give me a second. I wanted to just post one more thing in the chat stream for you guys, because I know there's Spanish speakers that are watching right now. I've got people, so they're in the chat stream. I just put a link to my Spanish speaking YouTube channel. But yeah, I know there's Spanish speakers that are watching my live Q&As now. And the best way to do that, if you're watching in Spanish, is to actually watch the next day. And I don't know, I might actually, I've been thinking about it, somehow promote my live streams on there. Because you can watch this live stream in another language. You just have to wait 24 hours because YouTube takes like a whole day to process it. But then it'll translate everything using that new audio dubbing feature. So you can listen in Spanish too to the live stream. One of these days, and maybe, I wonder if StreamYard has something. But once I start using StreamYard, maybe I'll be able to interact with Spanish speakers in real time too, because it might have built-in translation tools. That would be cool. So we're growing, guys. We're growing. I'm going to take this message, like I've been saying, I'm going to take it around the world. We're going to teach this the right way to everybody. And by the way, one more thing, and then I'll get to your questions. Check this out. I've been doing this for 8 years. And when I started 8 years ago, it was all the New Agers, right? People that didn't really meet a twin flame, and addicted people that didn't really meet a twin flame. And you could tell because they're not having any kind of an awakening. They think it's all about the relationship, and that's the whole purpose. They're obsessed. They're pushing all the twin flame mythology, all the stuff about mission and the 144,000 and how you got to do your healing, and then divine masculine's going to awaken and they're going to do their fucking healing, and you're going to go on your mission together, and you're having telepathic exchanges and all the weird new age bull crap. I'm not sorry. Not sorry. And just in copious amounts. When I started 8 years ago, it was just nothing but that in the comments, just all day long. And I pushed back so hard against that stuff. And it only took me about 4 or 5 years to clear all of those people out of my spaces, because I built a reputation. And everybody on the internet, all the haters, they all wanted to dogpile on me. They all wanted to gang up on me. And oh yeah, that Kurt says your DM's not going to awaken, and you don't have two-way telepathy with your twin flame. Well, I didn't say that exactly. What I said was you can have intuition with your twin flame, but that's different than telepathy. But they didn't want to hear that. They're listening to the voices in their head. You know, it's somebody with psychosis or schizophrenia. I'm not sorry, guys. This niche attracts people like that. I've talked about that before. You guys got to be careful out there. You don't know who you're talking to. But anyway, I spent 5 years clearing those people out. Trying to get the audience. Is this thing working? Okay. Trying to get the audience that I knew were people who really met a twin flame, right? That's the people I'm looking for, not people who think they did and they're just obsessed, or one of the New Agers who just want to be one of the cool kids and they just want to belong to a community, or they just want to be special or whatever. And again, I don't say any of this to be mean or to be a jerk or to put anybody down. That's not it, guys. These are myths. These are myths. And how are we ever going to get anything accomplished if we don't tell the truth about this? We have to weed out truth from fiction. And after 5 years of doing this, I just built that reputation, right? And everybody knew this guy's the Mythbuster. Also, this guy is getting thousands of people to be with their twin flame. So I started building collateral. I've got a whole playlist called Twin Flame Success Stories, where it's interviews with students or people leaving testimonials on my social media, talking about they're getting married, they're living with their twin flame, whatever. So I've got just insane results, and I'm doing all the myth busting. Now, after 5 years, I don't really get a lot of those people on my YouTube channel or Facebook group in the first place. So that's kind of where I was going with this. I don't get a lot of those people to begin with. It was like that at the very beginning on day one, 8 years ago. It was massive amounts of the wannabes. I'm not sorry, guys. Wannabes and obsessed people who, I can't help you. You didn't really meet your twin flame. What am I supposed to do? If you didn't really meet a twin flame, what am I supposed to do? I can't help you. So I got a massive amount of those, and I got a massive amount of people who did meet a twin flame. And it took me 5 years to clear out the people that did not meet a twin flame. And after 5 years, they were gone. It's like they don't even come to my channel hardly anymore. At all. Everybody just knows I've got that reputation. But it took a while to clear them out. So I think you guys understand kind of what I'm saying. Now, get this. I just started my Spanish-speaking YouTube channel, and it's like day one all over again. So I'm looking at it like this. I went into the English-speaking twin flame community, and I cleaned house. I cleaned up all the myths. I got rid of all the BS. I tore all of that down, and I started speaking logic. Guys. I don't think I'm better than anybody else. It's just, if you look at my teachings, they're the only thing that makes sense. And then you look at the results. 8,000 students. I've helped thousands of people to be with their twin. And I'm not saying that to brag. I'm asking you to look at the results. And look at the twin flame community on average, right? So I have really shaken the table in the English-speaking parts of the world. I've really cleaned up a lot of messes. I've made a big impact. It's my pleasure, to do that. I'm glad that I was somebody who actually offered a solution. And I'm happy to say there's even a handful of former students of mine who are teaching twin flames correctly. Hallelujah! And it's working. It's working. Their students are getting results. They are. So the landscape in the English-speaking twin flame community is vastly different now. And I know I'm the infiltrator who did that. You're welcome. And I'm not saying this to give myself accolades. Once again, just for the haters, in case they try to say anything, I don't think I'm better than anybody else, but I know I'm doing things different than the way everybody else was doing them 8 years ago. And now things look differently. Well, now I'm starting in the Spanish-speaking twin flame community. Now I'm starting there. And it's just like day one when I started with the English-speaking part of the world. I'm getting 50% comments from people that are like, you don't know what you're talking about. You're not even a twin flame. everybody knows that twin flames are each other's romantic perfect partner, and you're going to save the world on your mission together. And then I'm getting 50% people that are like, oh my God, Kurt, what you're saying makes so much sense. This is exactly what happened to me. I let my twin flame go too, and they came back. I took your advice, and it actually worked. So 4 or 5 years from now, you're going to see this half going away. In the Spanish-speaking part of the world, you're going to see the big reset taking place in South America, Spain, Mexico, Central America, right? In those parts of the world. And good. It needs to be done. I am taking this message worldwide. We've got a job to do. We need to clean up this mess. And it's my pleasure to be the one to lead the way. So when I look at the Spanish-speaking twin flame community, right now, it's all the same crap that was there 8 years ago when I started. You guys, and this is important. This isn't me just sitting up here ranting. This is a big problem, you guys. If you really met your twin flame, simultaneous incarnation, somebody's asking in the comments, the mythology and the obsession and all that kind of stuff and the bad advice you're getting from people on the internet, it's not helping. It isn't helping anybody, you guys. So I just wanted to address that. I don't do this to be an asshole. You guys, it's important. How are we ever going to get anything accomplished if we don't tell the truth about this? And unfortunately, the only way to tell the truth in this space is 50% busting the myths and 50% telling people how it really does work. You're a soul. You got to do soul stuff. This isn't about your twin flame. Now, there was somebody back here, give me a second, who was talking about their Kundalini experience. I don't know if they... No, they didn't really... Oh. Okay. This person, their screen name is Trailer Trash Hoosier. I love that! Trailer Trash Hoosier. So that's Indiana. You're from Indiana, aren't you? That's fucking awesome. I love that, dude. America! Yes, you can utilize my paid community if you don't use Facebook. Although you can. You're in Canada. What? Why are you a Hoosier? Because that's like NASCAR, and Hoosier is something people from Indiana have, because it's like tires. I guess they make the tires there. Hoser. Oh, you're a hoser. I'm from Canada, eh? I'm from Canada, you hoser. Would you like to come to my house? Hey, Trailer Trash Hoser, I got a question for you. If a house in Canada is a hoose, what does that make a couch? Did you get that? Did you get that, eh? If a house is a hoose, what's a couch? You hooser. I used to live in Canada for about 18 months. Nice people. Anyway, all right. So, Trailer Trash Hoser, you are experiencing Kundalini, and it all started when you met your twin flame. Yep. It sure did. Victor, yes, thank you for the super chat. I do remember you from last week's live stream, although I would prefer to answer other people's questions this week. We spent a lot of time with you last week. I hope you don't mind, but if we're going to start talking a whole bunch, back and forth thing like we did last week, I don't think that's going to be a fair way to spend time this week with everybody else that has questions. But if you have one question or one statement you want to make, because I remember our conversation, please do. Please do. I'd be interested to know if anything's changed. Okay. By the way, guys, I'm happy to answer your twin flame questions. And I guess we can officially start right now. So if you guys want to start putting questions in the chat, I'll get on task here and we'll do that. But I just want to say, for the record, I have so much knowledge about the law of attraction that you wouldn't even believe it, you guys. I teach it professionally to my students too. And I'm at like Hermes Trismegistus level knowledge. And the reason I'm saying that to you is because I want to share that knowledge with you. I feel it a disservice to waste my wealth of knowledge, my vast wealth of knowledge that I've accumulated over the years. I'm a resource, and I realize that. I feel like I'm somewhat in service to the public, and I don't want this information to get lost. So if you ever have a manifesting question or a question about just straight non-duality or a question about physics, how does the universe work? And how does that tie in with spirituality? You guys, I got you. I have so much freaking knowledge about those topics. It's sickening. And I've got all the books and everything. You guys, I've been teaching this professionally for 8 years. It's my job to sit around and learn about this stuff. So if you have any questions about those topics, I would love to talk about that instead of just twin flames, which is why I updated the title of the live stream today to just live Q&A, because I want to talk about that stuff too. Now, I will start with a twin flame question. There's a statement here that somebody is making in the chat. That I really like about their twin flame. This first question or statement is from Writer 7666. Writer 7666. They said, Kurt, can you please help me? I cannot afford your paid coaching, but I would like to work on this path. Please, can you help me? I'm in serious condition of crisis. Yes, I can help you. This is a very important question, and this is the reason, this is the thing that really motivates me, you guys, to get up here and doing this every day. I mean, I'm making money, and I'm creating jobs. I've got 3 employees, and that's cool and everything, but if I didn't have a good reason to do that in the first place, I would get bored with that. And here's my reason. I was in your position. I was in your shoes, you guys. I met a twin flame, and it was hell. And now everything is fine, but it is not what the internet says it is. For the most part, it's really tough. And you're in a lot of pain. You're in a lot of suffering. And I see the conditions out there online in these twin flame communities. And this is kind of what I was talking about earlier in the live stream, which is it's not really helping. the mythology, the myths people spread about this phenomenon, the grifting, also people that aren't really a twin flame, who think they are. Som Pro, thank you for your super chat. But that's a big part of it too. Writer 7666, yes, I am answering your question right now. Listen up. So there's a lot of people that are in a lot of pain. They don't know what to do, and they're getting advice from other people that are in pain, who are getting advice from other people that are confused, who are getting advice from people who say they are twin flames and they are not, right? Like the twin flame couples. There's the two cult leaders on Netflix. In my opinion, it's a cult. I don't think that's very hard to justify. Everybody else says they are. Maybe they're not, but everybody else seems to think they are, and they're getting investigated by the Attorney General. There's a whole documentary about them on Netflix. They are not the same soul, guys, those two people. And that's all of the twin flame couples that you see on the internet giving you this healing advice. And it doesn't work. It makes things worse. And that's what makes me mad. I was in your shoes. I was in your position, trying to navigate my way around the internet, trying to figure out what the fuck to do. And nothing was working. Things were getting worse because that's what you're going to get on the internet. You're going to get advice like that. People that are confused, people that think the purpose is to be with them, which can happen. You can end up with them, yes. But yeah, it's like that. It's like that. It's just nonstop mythology and obsession, and everybody's encouraging each other to be obsessed. And it's pretty toxic, guys. And a lot of it is covert toxicity, where it's somebody who appears to be helpful, and they're not. They're not helping you. So I see all the people that really did meet a twin flame suffering and struggling, and it's because of that. It's because of the myths. It's because of the online environment in the so-called twin flame community. And that's what makes me mad, is people are suffering out there needlessly, and it doesn't need to be this way. So, writer 7666, listen up. I'm going to give you 3 simple steps how to shut down the pain. And even if it turns out, let's just say hypothetically, that you really did not meet your twin flame, this will still work. Now, if you did meet your twin flame, it'll work. You'll feel better, right? Which is what your question is. I just want to feel better. That's basically what you're asking me. I just want to feel better, right? So, whether you did or did not meet a twin flame, if you follow my advice, you will start to feel better. If you did meet a twin flame, as a byproduct of following this advice, your twin flame, if they are your twin flame, you'll hear from them. You'll hear from them. At minimum, they'll reach out. Okay, here's number 1. Let go of the twin flame myths. We definitely just talked about that. Let go of the twin flame myths. About 3 minutes ago, 4 minutes ago, I started talking about the myths. I went over that again. The healing, the making them your goal, the mission, the waiting for your twin flame to awaken. The purpose is to be with them. It's not. But if you align with the true purpose, which is step 3, we'll get to that in a minute. Yeah, they might actually come back. And I've helped a lot of people to do it. So let go of the myths. They're not helping you. And they are myths. All they're doing is holding you back and keeping you focused on the person, making them the goal, keeping you focused, also shaming you. Like, you got to find your mission and your purpose, and you got to prove that you're a good soul, and you better do it like this, and you're in service, and all the narcissistic bullshit. that you're going to get from the Twin Flame community. There's a video on my True Twin Flame Teachings playlist called Twin Flame Myths. Go check it out. Go check it out. At least in English. I don't think I have a Spanish one right now. Okay. Next thing, step 2. So step 1, let go of the myths, right? Let go of the Twin Flame myths. Step 2, stop chasing your twin flame. Stop talking to them. Stop talking about them. Stop obsessively watching twin flame content. People that take my paid coaching, I even tell them to unsubscribe from my YouTube channel. Seriously. Seriously. You're not on a twin flame journey. There's no such thing as the twin flame journey, guys. This says twin flame obsession. And everybody's lined up in this line. This says the true spiritual journey. Nobody wants to get into this line, but this is the line that you actually are in, whether you know it or not. You think you're in this line. Guys, there's no twin flame journey. You're a soul. You and your twin flame are the same soul. That's true, if they are your twin flame. But that doesn't matter. It's not about the person. It's about being a soul. And being a soul means letting go of the outside, releasing attachment to external things and people, right? So there's a lot of different ways for a spiritual awakening to be triggered in a human person. Meeting a twin flame is just one way to have that happen. There can be a lot of other things, anxiety, depression, life circumstances, a near-death experience, all kinds of things to trigger an awakening. Twin flame is just one way, you guys. So that's the trick with meeting a twin flame, is you might think it's about the person, but it's not. It's about your awakening. And so if you let go of the person and instead just focus on your awakening, you'll feel better. And you might hear from them too, yes. But the thing is, you're not doing anything to get them to come back at all. It's a paradox. So you got to just let them go. Let them all the way go and move on. Like you never even met this person. Like you've never even heard of twin flames. And we'll talk about that in just a second. How to move on with your life, how to move on from them, how that really works. I'll talk about that in a second. So that's step 2. Stop chasing this person. Stop chasing the outside world and stop looking for things to replace them with. At least for right now. You're going to take a nice long break on step 3 when we get to that. We're on step 2 right now. But stop with the whole twin flame thing, guys. You're on a spiritual awakening path. You're on a spiritual awakening path. You got to get rid of all the twin flame stuff. That'll make more sense to you when we get to step 3. Now, before I go to step 3, I want to talk about what some of the other things you could be doing to chase them look like. Because they could look like laying in bed at night and pining for them, yearning for them, allowing yourself to feel this desire for this emotional, like, oh, I gotta have them and I love them so much, and just doubling down on the emotional yearning and desire and the pain and missing them. Yeah, you got to stop doing that. You got to stop laying in bed at night or during the day or like ruminating about them. And again, I'll make that easy for you in step 3. So bear with me for a second. But yes, that's part of it. That's part of it. You got to stop energetically chasing them. That pushes them away anyhow. Remember, you and your twin flame are a closed energy system. You focus on them, they focus on anything but you. The twin flame push-pull is mechanical, not psychological. So you got to stop. You got to stop focusing on this person, looking at old pictures, reading old text messages, obsessing over them, talking to them, talking about them. You got to shut all that stuff down. Shut it all off. Okay, step 3. Step 3. You are going to replace the twin flame obsession with the true spiritual journey. And I am saying the true spiritual journey on purpose, because you need to learn about what spiritualism really is, not what people say it is. And again, the internet, I'm telling you, the internet, it's so full of misinformation and disinformation about spiritualism that it's unbelievable. So, what is spiritualism? Well, I'll make it simple for you. You are body, mind, soul, right? Well, let's talk about what those things are. Writer 7666, I am showing you kindness. I have literally been spending the last 8 to 10 minutes answering your question, and you're not listening, you're not paying attention. I can't help you if you're going to be inconsolable. If you're going to keep asking the same question over and over and over again, every time I just finished answering it, I can't help you. You need to listen. So I guess go watch the replay and listen to everything again, because apparently you haven't been listening. I've been wasting everybody's time because you're not listening. Listen. God. This is somebody, I'm just going to say this right off the bat. I don't know if you really met a twin flame. I'm not sorry. If you don't want to listen to my answers, that's a red flag. But I'm going to finish anyway because everybody, I'm already into it, the answer to this question. So step 3 is the step where this is all going to make sense to you. You are body, mind, soul. Let's talk about what those things are, and then it'll make sense to you. The mind, the body, first of all, we're pretty clear what that is. The mind is thoughts, emotions, metaphysical energy, telepathy, chakras, right? It's metaphysical. It's mind, meta, mind, right? Metaphysical thoughts, emotions, metaphysical energy, right? Kind of that whole ball of wax. It's thinking, it's feeling emotions. Also, it's this self-concept. It's this idea of self. Like if I was to ask you, who are you? Tell me about yourself. You would tell me a story. You would give me a history or a breakdown of who you are, right? But a newborn baby, 1 day old, newborn baby, is a 1 day old newborn baby thinking about who it is? No. Well, then what's going on inside the baby? Consciousness. And only consciousness. That's the soul. That's your twin flame. Now, on average, and I kind of talked about this a minute ago, on average, if you try to look up spiritual information on the internet, you're going to get all the pop culture nonsense. And I'm sick of it, and so are other spiritual people. There's a big pushback against that kind of stuff, by the way, but you're going to get all the tired tropes about healing and finding your purpose, which is all concept. That's mind. Those are ideas or emotions. And there's nothing wrong with those things. I want to be clear about that. That's just not spiritualism. It's not consciousness. It's thought or emotion, like feeling different emotions or thinking different thoughts. Healing, which is a good thing to do, but it's got nothing to do with consciousness. That's psychology. Spiritualism is going to take you back to day one, the newborn baby. There's no thinking about who you are. Now, for example, as you're sitting there meditating, for example, what you're attempting to do is to not do. You're not trying to do anything. You're just allowing yourself to exist. And that's all. You are just existing. And there might be all of these thoughts and emotions going on as you are meditating, but the job of the meditator is not to stop thinking, because you can't really stop thinking. Thinking is like your heart. It's just always going, right? The idea with meditation is to experience yourself as the awareness instead of the thinker. Because again, what everybody else believes is they are the self-concept, the thinker, the thinking and the emotions, this ego self, right? And that's not who you are. It's a shadow. It's the self-concept, which happens later in life, 7, 8 years old. But again, the newborn baby has no self-concept. It's just awareness. So as you're meditating, you're experiencing yourself as the awareness. And the awareness can be aware of the self-concept, the person. So in my case, it would be Kurt. Kurt is thinking and feeling emotions, and I, the awareness, am just simply witnessing and watching Kurt think and emote as I meditate. You are not your mind. You are not your mind is ground level. So this is part of step 3. Learn about real spirituality and go to the masters, not some little new ager on YouTube. Guys, no. Nice people and everything, but they're confused, and they're going to confuse you. It's not your problem, guys. Learn from the masters. So this book right here, The Power of Now. The Power of Now. It's available in every language. Everyone. The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. The first thing he wants to talk to you about is you are not your mind. You are not the self-concept. That's not who you are. Okay. Well, then who am I? All right, well, chapter 2. Consciousness. The way out of pain. The way out of pain. So Rider 7666, or anybody else watching, you're suffering, you're struggling, you want it to end? This is how. You are on a spiritual awakening path. This is your journey towards full-blown Buddha-level enlightenment, and I'm not kidding. That's the purpose of this. Again, there's lots of other ways that a spiritual awakening like this can be triggered. For example, the death of a loved one, a near-death experience, whatever, right? But most people, they chase their twin flame instead of just realizing your twin flame is really just a catalyst to trigger your awakening. You got to let them go. That was step 2. Remember, we talked about that. Step 1, let go of the myths. Step 2, stop chasing your twin. Step 3, get on the true spiritual journey. Take the whole twin flame obsession, throw it in the trash, and replace it with genuine spiritualism, slowing down, learning to meditate, learning your true nature. You are consciousness. You're not your mind. You're not the self-concept. You're not the thinker. And again, learn from the masters. Use trusted sources like Eckhart Tolle. The Power of Now, Eckhart Tolle. He is essentially the modern day Buddha. Eckhart Tolle. Krishnamurti. Paramahansa Yogananda. Alan Watts. This is another good beginner's book. So if you're just starting out on spiritualism, just get this book. You don't need to worry about those other books. You'll get to those eventually. Just get this book first and then get this one. So this is called The Untethered Soul. And I'm pretty sure it's available in several languages. The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer. This is Spiritualism Basics. These 2 books, The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer and The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. This is how you stop feeling like shit. This is how you get out of the obsession. And by the way, if you are more interested in experiencing your true nature beyond mind than you are the person, you might actually hear from them. You got to slow down. Put yourself into some kind of an isolation period. Even if it's just 3 months. I have my students do a really good detox and then replace the twin flame obsession with the true spiritual journey, not healing, not the new age crap. It's crap. I'm not sorry. It's not spiritual. Learn real spiritualism from the masters, not some random person on YouTube, and spend at least 3 months in solitude. I don't want you to live like that forever, but just 90 days. That's all, just 90 days. Take the 90-day solitude challenge. Slow down. Get out of the obsessive mind. Allow the emotions to fizzle out. Spend time in nature. Commune with God. Pray. Meditate. I don't want you to just sit around thinking for 90 days. Learn how to get out of mind. Not to stop thinking. We just talked about that. You cannot make the thinking stop. What you're doing is realizing that you are this deeper essence, which is beyond thinking. And there can be thinking going on as you're experiencing that. But you're not going to do it if you're in this heightened emotional state, chasing your twin flame. You have to spend at least 90 days slowing down, being in stillness, spending time in nature, and things like that. So, those are the 3 steps. That is a complete question. And, or a complete answer, I should say. And I hope that you guys found that helpful. I got some super chats I got to catch up on here. Andy Dances, thank you. She said, "Hi, Kurt. What if I want to follow your channel for the other content like manifestation and other teachings playlists? I enjoy learning from you. Yeah, do that. I'm going to keep making manifesting content. I'm going to keep talking about law of attraction. I might split off onto another YouTube channel to do that too. I haven't decided yet, but absolutely. I've got the mastery level teachings for that too. Victor, thank you for another super chat. He said, please read my last comment. Okay, I will. Victor. You did the detached test. Okay. Well, I don't know if you did the detached test. Because if you're here leaving me questions and comments on a twin flame video, that's not a very good detaching. You might be still focused on your twin flame, but all right, well, let us know how that works out, Victor. Let's see what else. Dilly Bar, thank you for the super chat. Dilly Bar 999 says, is it normal to lose feelings for your other self, twin flame, other self? You guys are both the same soul. The soul is the true self. So they are your other self. It's a much better term to use than twin flame, right? So simultaneous incarnation or other self is better than twin flame, I think. But yes, it is normal to do that, actually. And this doesn't make sense to people sometimes because they think, because of the internet mythology, they think that this is supposed to be a romantic connection. It's supposed to be like soulmates, only better. It's like soulmates, only better. Yeah, right? Like it's supposed to be Jack and Rose from that Titanic movie or something, right? And it's not. It's not like that. The rules are completely different, even at the very end. So when you guys, if you end up all the way together at the very end, right, what you guys call union, right? Which actually, I'm going to explain that, Dilly Bar 999. This will make the answer to your question make a lot more sense. So again, your question was, is it normal to lose feelings for your other self? Emotions come from the mind. Emotions are not bad. They're not bad, but they are mind. And the mind is separation. That's what that word really is, right? So again, all of the great spiritual masters, especially spiritual masters who are more recent in time, more like modern times, like Ram Dass or Alan Watts, right? Or Paramahansa Yogananda, right? Definitely Rupert Spira. Rupert Spira, he literally refers to the ego, the self-concept, the personality, right? So in my case, Kurt, right? This identity called Kurt, this mental and emotional collection of retained thought and emotional imprints, right? Kurt, the self-concept. Rupert Spira calls that the separate self. The separate self. And again, these relatively modern teachers, Ram Dass, Alan Watts, The word separation is not a relationship status with your twin flame. And the word union is not a relationship status with your twin flame either. So again, the same people, Yogananda, Alan Watts, Ram Dass, Rupert Spira, if you ask them about the word union, they're going to go, oh yeah, that's your true nature beyond mind. Union is your true nature beyond mind. And these men, Alan Watts, Ram Dass, Rupert Spira, Paramahansa Yogananda, Eckhart Tolle, they don't ever talk about twin flames. They probably don't even know what a twin flame is. So why are they using those words? Well, maybe it's because that's not what those words are. Those words are not relationship statuses with your twin flame. They're not. So what are those words? By the way, Victor, I only ever saw 2 super chats from you. Maybe just retype whatever you wanted to say in the chat. I don't see anything else from you. Well, anyway, those words are states of consciousness. Separation is the way that the mind looks at things, guys. Union is your true nature. It's the soul. It's consciousness. It's beyond mind. It can't be understood. You can only experience it, like the newborn baby. The newborn baby is not sitting there thinking about who it is. It's just only existing right now in the present moment. It's not thinking about any other place or time or situation. That's why Eckhart Tolle's book is called The Power of Now. Consciousness exists only in the eternal moment of now. That's your soul. That's your soul. That's your twin flame. So twin flames, I think what happened is they borrowed those words. They borrowed the teachings a long time ago, probably the 1950s or the 1960s. And I can only imagine that whoever originally was using the teachings of genuine spiritualism, the real teachings underlying those words, separation and union, right? Whoever originally was using those words as a twin flame, they probably were doing it right. They were probably telling people what I'm telling you, which is the mind is separation, the mind perceives. There's me and there's them. There's me and there's my twin flame. The soul is unity or union. It's one with everything, right? Now, the internet in the 90s, in the 1990s, comes along, gets a hold of the teachings, and mixes them all up. And now everybody in the twin flame niche, you guys think that those words are a relationship status with your twin flame. But if Ram Dass or Eckhart Tolle saw the way that twin flames were doing that, they would be like, what are you guys doing? That's not what those words mean. But if you use those teachings properly, yeah, your twin flame will come back. Now, back to the original question this person was asking, which is it normal for me to feel less emotions for my twin flame? Is it normal to lose feelings for your twin flame? Yes. The mind is separation and duality. The only way for an emotion to be possible is separation. There has to be a sense of other. I am me and you are you. That makes a we. We are two. We are separate. I am me and you are you. We are two separate individuals, and that's the way the mind perceives things. I am Kurt, and my twin flame is this other person, right? I have to do something to get them to come back to me. That's the illusion of mind. That's the illusion of separation. And emotions are only possible when there is other, when there is separation, even empathy, which is supposed to be one of the highest, most divine spiritual emotions. Yeah, well, it's not spiritual. It's an emotion. And that doesn't make it bad. It is an emotion. It comes from the mind. It's not spiritual. Spiritual is consciousness. And that is not debated by the great spiritual masters. Spiritual is consciousness. So, in order for you to even feel empathy, there has to be something or someone for you to feel that empathy for. There has to be something separate or outside of you to feel that empathy towards. Now, if you really met your twin flame, then you are on this semi-automated path towards Buddha level enlightenment, where you release the separate self, the self-concept of ego, the identity, the me, right? In my case, it would be Kurt, right? The little me. I'm releasing that, or I have, but you are releasing that. And the thing that will make this take longer for you is if you stay focused on the person, or you chase the outside world. You try to find some fulfillment through the outside world. And that doesn't mean that you don't have experiences with other people or do things with your life. It just means that you're not attached to them. It's the little me, the self-concept, Kurt, right? The personality that gets attached because there's something else separate from it to get attached to. There's me and there's you, and I am attached to you. And your twin flame runs. There's emotion, there's separation, there's attachment, right? But the real you is consciousness and already is your twin flame. And if you go a layer deeper than the soul, you are the whole universe. So beyond this body and mind, you are a soul. You and your twin flame are that. But beyond the soul, you're all of it. You're everything. And I actually recommend making that your target. Union, unity, oneness with all. And when you realize that you are one with everything, you cannot get emotionally attached to it. That's the punchline. That's the peak. That's the answer to your question. Yes, it is true that you will not experience emotion very much after a while with your twin flame if you're doing this properly. You can screw it up by chasing the person, chasing outside pleasures as a means of fulfillment. Doesn't mean that you don't do those things. You're just doing them differently now. You don't need them. You don't perceive yourself as this separate entity. It's beyond mind. You realize at a level deeper than mind that you're all of it already. So no, I'm not attached to anything. And when you realize that you're all of it, they call that detaching, by the way. Because if you're all of it, there was nothing for you to ever get attached to in the first place, because you were never separate from any of it. When you experience yourself as that deeper I am presence of consciousness, there is nothing for you to get emotionally attached to, especially your twin flame. That's like the first thing that changes, is you don't feel attached to them. If you're doing this properly, if you're not making them the purpose, if you're not making your twin flame the purpose, get out of this line, twin flame obsession. Get out of this line. Get into this line, the true spiritual journey. The true spiritual journey, not healing, but remembering yourself as this deeper divine essence of consciousness, right? The master's journey, the real spiritual masters, right? These guys, Yogananda, Buddha, Jesus even. Jesus is one of the most misunderstood masters of all time. He said, I and the Father are one, which means I am one with the whole universe. He also said, these things and more shall you also do, which means you are also one with the whole universe. You just kind of forgot. So when you experience yourself as this deeper divine essence of oneness, yeah, you're going to stop feeling emotions for your twin flame. And it should be like that. Guys, this is not soulmates. And when you get to the end, right, what you guys call union, it's not boring. It isn't boring. Boring is an emotion. There are no emotions. If you experience an emotion towards your twin flame, they run. They run. Why? Because emotions are separation. That does not make them bad. That's just what they are. They are separation. There has to be something else for you to have an emotion for. This is not soulmates, guys. This works way different. This is a direct experience with your soul. And if your starting point is separation, emotion, that's what you're going to get. You're going to push away your soul. Your soul is unity. It's oneness. And if your starting point is separation, you push that away. Going within is not healing. It's this experience of your divine self beyond mind. You already are that, right? Like I said earlier, the newborn baby. The newborn baby is not laying there in its crib thinking about who it is. It just is existing. That's consciousness. So no, you're not going to feel emotions for your twin flame. What you will feel is peace, spiritual enlightenment, the complete end to suffering. The complete end to suffering. Do you guys remember this? Chapter 2, The Power of Now. The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. Chapter 2, he explains that you are consciousness, and consciousness is the way out of pain. Enlightenment is nothing more than a complete end to all suffering. That doesn't mean that you don't have emotions. It just means that you don't suffer through them. And there's this stillness within you all the time. And you know you are all of it. You fear nothing. And when you are with your person, your twin flame, your other self, it's just like that. Now, you might not want them still, but when they're around you, yeah, it's just peaceful. It's just like that. Great question, Dillybar999. Thank you for your wonderful question. I hope that was helpful. Let's go to the next question from Zoctella. Thank you for the super chat. Hi, Kurt. If consciousness is not thoughts or desires, how can it decide to incarnate? Decision is a mental process. Is incarnation a biological absurdity without will or a prior choice? How can it agree to live the suffering? I love that question. I love that question so much. And by the way, Trailer Trash Hoser, thank you for your super chat. No, I do not do one-on-one coaching, at least not right now. I might do it again later this year. We will see. There will be an announcement if I do. But you don't need the one-on-one coaching. You need my paid coaching program. It's not that much more money, and Instead of just getting to talk to me for just under an hour, you get 60 hours of me explaining the whole process to you. So I really don't understand why people get one-on-ones from me. It's such a waste of money. It really is. You need the coaching. You need the coaching. You can't understand all this in 1 hour, guys. Okay, back to this other person's question, Zoctella. I'm going to repeat the question. Hi, Kurt. If consciousness is not thoughts or desires, how can it decide to incarnate? Decision is a mental process. Is incarnation a biological absurdity without will or a prior choice? How can it agree to live the suffering? I like this question so much. Guys, this is the kind of advanced, higher level question that I want to answer, like I explained at the beginning of today's live stream. I've got so much knowledge about these topics, and I feel like I'm wasting it if I just sit here and only answer twin flame questions. And I'm happy to answer twin flame questions, but guys, there's so much more that we could be talking about. So thank you, Zoctella, for your question. By the way, someone's asking, how much is your coaching? Just go to my website. Okay, so Zoctella, here's the thing about the soul. You could think of the soul like a leaf on the tree. So the soul is represented by a leaf. Actually, I've got a better way of explaining this. Think of a branch on the tree like the soul. So one entire branch. And the branch has lots of leaves. Each leaf is an incarnation, a meat suit, a person, right? That's each leaf. The branch is the soul or higher self. And any one tree could have hundreds of branches, right? Now, in our analogy, this branch is going to have, who knows, millions, billions. But the tree would be like an oversoul or your higher self. Let's just say the branch is your soul. The tree is... Let me make sure that I'm defining these terms properly. The leaves are people, incarnating, reincarnating, right? Those are the leaves, all the people that you have or will be. The branch is the soul. The tree is your higher self. The forest is God. So, the higher up you go, the more that you become pure non-dual consciousness or the mental universe. So you could think of the universe in the same way that you would think of you. So your body, mind, soul. Remember where the Bible said, God created man in his own image and likeness, right? But what the Bible meant was not that God is a flawed human, an ego with likes and dislikes who maybe is good sometimes and bad other times. And, you know, I mean, there's problems with this idea that God created man in his own image and likeness, if you look at it that way. But that's not what the Bible meant. That's not what the Bible was talking about. What the Bible meant was infrastructure, not personality. So body, mind, soul. So what is the body of the all? And God, that word, some people, they don't like that. I get it. I understand why some people don't like it, because the word God has all of this religious dogma attached to it over the last, whatever, couple thousand years. And has kind of ruined that word for everybody. But if you can take out all of the theology and dogma, then the word God will make more sense to you. It's just everything that is. It's the all, right? So body, mind, soul. What's the body of the all? God. Well, planets, space dust, stars, galaxies, nebulae, right? Physical matter. Okay? What's the mind of the all? The emptiness. The emptiness of the universe. So we got physical matter, and then we have space. The emptiness. And Hermes Trismegistus pointed out that the universe is mind. The universe is mental. But here's the thing. It's not like your mortal mind, where it's this heavy, dense, like, right? Like thinking and emotions, and it's miserable all the time, right? The self-concept. It's not like that. It's a higher mind. It's more refined. And it encompasses all of existence, the whole universe, all of it. It's massive. By the way, side note, and this is a very important side note, there happens to be a theory which is going to dominate physics in the coming years and decades, called information realism. And it's not going anywhere. And even the dead universe material scientists who think they're going to find where matter came from by looking into matter, even though they don't love the theory of information realism, they know it's not going anywhere, and it's going to dominate physics. Why? Well, the reason why is because it's true. You can prove it. So what is information realism? Well, the theory of information realism is saying that the substrate of the physical matter in the universe is the emptiness of space. And that the emptiness of space is full of information, like thoughts, thinking, data, information. Now, in case you don't know what the word substrate means, a substrate is like the frame of a car. And then everything else attaches to that frame. The body, the engine, the transmission, the seats, the wheels, the axles, all of that stuff attaches to the substrate, right? So the frame of the car is the substrate of the car. So the substrate of the physical part of the universe that we are existing in is the emptiness of space. In other words, physical matter came from the emptiness. It came from information. And that sounds really abstract if you're following me here. What physicists are saying, and I mean, we're talking physicists that have a lot of clout, People like Lothar Schaefer, Max Tegmark, Christoph Cook. I know you guys probably don't know who that is, but they're kind of a big deal in the physics world. You know, they got multiple PhDs. They are overseeing an entire college, university, science department. You know, they've got all these accolades, right? So these aren't weirdos. And this is accepted physics now. This is legitimate, accepted physics. Physics right now is saying we think that the universe is mind. I kid you not. Think about that for a second. No pun intended. Physics, conventional physics today, everybody, is saying we think that the emptiness of space is full of thoughts, information. And where physical matter comes from is that. They're not kidding. They're not kidding, guys. Physical reality, you've heard people say in the spiritual world, it's an illusion. The physical world is just a magic trick. It's a phantasmagoria. It's an illusion, right? Yeah, well, guess what? Conventional physicists are saying that now. Let that sink in for a minute. You are living in a simulation, guys. You really are. And you might be wondering, well, why aren't they talking about this on TV? Well, they are, but people just aren't really paying attention. I mean, they don't talk about it like on the news, right? And you guys know the news is there to distract you and to lie to you and to trick you. And of course, I have a side project over here where I talk about that stuff. If you want to go get plugged into that, just look me up. New World All-Star. All-Star is one word, ALLSTAR. This is another video sharing platform. New World All-Star, where I talk about this wicked system on Earth and how it's put there to lie to you. So, yes, no, the Hollywood and the news, they're not really talking about that. But, I mean, you could hop on Amazon Prime or Netflix or something, or even YouTube and find documentaries about it, I'm sure. Yeah, the universe is a simulation, and even conventional physics is saying that. Guess who else said that? Hermes Trismegistus. Thousands of years ago when he lived. There's a book. Just go look it up. There's a YouTube channel on YouTube called The Master Key Society. It's called The Master Key Society. And if you go there, look for a book on there. I can't say the name of it. Damn it. Just go on Google and look up, hey Google, what's the name of the book where we talk about Hermetic philosophy? What's the book where we talk about Hermetic philosophy? And then just go find that book. Anyway, Hermes Trismegistus, thousands of years ago, said the universe is mind. It's a higher mind. And now you've got physicists and mathematicians with accolades. These guys are a big deal, guys. Okay, these are important people in the physics world. People like Gregory Shaitan, who said flat out, the universe is mind. It's mind. Guys, this is what I'm telling you. The universe is alive. It is a living, conscious being. You know, God, the all, So let's go back to our original analogy. The tree. Each leaf on the branch is a person. Each branch is a soul. Each tree is a higher self. The forest is God, the all. It's all of it. So we've just covered body and mind, physical universe, mental universe. What about the equivalent of soul to God? What would its soul be? Well, its soul would be what science refers to as a singularity. And modern physics still basically is saying we think that the whole universe came from a singularity. The Big Bang. Or did it? Because if you want to dig really deep into that one, you have to be okay with that the universe did do that and it always was. Which actually sounds like some of the esoteric kind of stuff that these guys are going to tell you, right? Well, yes, there was a beginning, but it also always was. And you're like, what? How can it be both, right? But it is like that. And that's a phenomenon, this phenomenon of dichotomy or paradox that physics is always running into all the time. So essentially a singularity. So this, in case you're watching me in another language, this says spiritualism. This says science. And you can download this, by the way. If you're watching me in another language, there's a Google Drive link in the video description. Go check it out. There's no spam or virus or any of that bullshit. I don't fuck around with that shit. But this is translated into your language. So if you want to go download that. But yeah, okay, so this says spiritualism, science. In the discipline of spiritualism, mind, or the physical realm, is represented by duality. Yin-yang, separation, right? Opposites, duality. Up here you have the source, the one, which everything came from. And it's not duality. It neither exists nor does it not exist. It is neither existence nor inexistence. It is neither thing nor emptiness. And you might be thinking about that going, well, I don't understand. How can you even have that? How can you have something which neither exists nor does not exist? That can't be right. Yeah, well, that's what scientists used to think until Albert Einstein came out with his famous equation, E equals mc squared. And somebody calculated that you could actually have that, and they called it a singularity. So in the discipline of science, they have the same kind of system that spiritualism does. In spiritualism, they refer to the mind or the physical universe as duality. In science, they refer to it as relativity. Plus, minus. Here, there, greater, lesser, past, future, right? But we're all talking about the same thing. And in science, the opposite of duality or relativity is singularity, oneness. There is no opposite. Because if source exists, then that can't be right, because existing has an opposite, inexistence. So anytime you have something where, so let me start over. In this philosophy, Anytime you have something where it's possible for you to have an opposite to it, it's not singularity. It's not source. And you can't understand it. That's the whole point. A singularity in science, they don't even have a way to express this. You can't even write the number 0. I mean, sure, they have a symbol because they got to write something, but it's understood that whatever this is, you can't understand it. It's not concept. Even 0 is a concept. Nothing is a concept. Thing is a concept. It's neither of those. Now, what's the one thing that everybody here already knows about as spiritual students? What's the one thing that you know of which is absolutely not concept whatsoever? Anybody? In the chat? I know you know the answer. Yeah, your soul. We're getting to that. Yeah, that's a legit answer. But consciousness, and this is where I'm going to tie together all this stuff to make her question make sense. Because remember, the original question, it's not going to let me go that far. Damn it. But the original question was, how can the soul, if the soul is pure consciousness, essentially this was her question. If the soul is pure consciousness, how can it choose to reincarnate? Because choice is a concept. That's a great question. It's because the soul is not pure consciousness. The forest is not pure consciousness either. Remember, body, mind, soul. So the soul of God or the all, that's the only thing which is pure consciousness, the source. It neither exists nor inexists. It's not existence and it's not inexistence. It's not thing and it's not nothing. You can't understand it. It's pure consciousness. Now, the forest, which is the mental universe, is almost all consciousness. But it's almost all consciousness. If you experienced it, like for example, Paramahansa Yogananda, he talked about this. He experienced himself as something way bigger than himself. And when he died, he chose it. He parasamadhi'd himself. It's called parasamadhi. P-A-R-A, parasamadhi. He parasamadhi'd. He even told somebody the day before, I'm going to do this tomorrow at dinner. And then he just collapsed. It wasn't suicide. It was, I'm leaving this physical vessel. I'm done here. My work here is done. God bless you all. Right? He experienced oneness with almost the whole fucking universe, guys. The whole forest. Now, what is it like when a leaf on the tree experiences oneness with the whole forest? It feels like pure consciousness. It's not. It's not pure consciousness. We just talked about that. There's a scant amount of information in the field of consciousness. You guys, think about how massive the universe is. And there's a grid or a matrix of information all throughout it. But it's so tenuous that you got to be like fucking Yogananda to even scratch the surface of it. Is there information in the emptiness? Yes, there's information in the whole forest. And if you, a single leaf on the tree, were to experience that whole forest, you would experience it as divine oneness, or as this deeper consciousness, not as thought at all. Your perception would be that it's just consciousness. So it is not true that the soul is pure consciousness. Now, to be fair, during the course of ordinary relations here on my YouTube channel, sometimes I will say that because I know I have a lot of beginners who just met their twin flame. They're in a lot of pain. They're already having to navigate and sift their way through all of the twin flame mythology and fucking bullshit on the internet about twin flames. I don't need to confuse them with all this shit. So I just say, oh, well, your soul is consciousness. But it's a little bit more nuanced than that. And that's what we just talked about. So, is the soul or the higher self, the tree, perhaps, making a decision? Yeah. Yeah, the tree is making a decision. But if you were to experience the mind of the tree, you, a leaf on the tree, if you were offered just a quick glimpse into that higher mind of the tree, you would say that it's consciousness. Because from your perspective, it is almost all pure consciousness. You wouldn't perceive it as thought. Now, let me give you an example before I finish with this question. Most of you watching have experienced intuition of the heart, or even of you can get it down here too, like in your solar plexus, but it comes always from your chest, from your torso, or your solar plexus, right? You get this weird, eerie knowing. It's this strong, intuitive vibration inside of you. It's this glowing knowing. It's not coming from here. It's not coming from your head. It's coming from your torso somewhere, and it's got this information with it, right? And that knowing has information with it, doesn't it? Most of it is this knowing. It's this weird knowing, and it like overtakes you sometimes. It's really strong sometimes. Sometimes it kind of feels a little bit like deja vu, a little bit. If any of you have ever experienced this, but there's information in there about the future or another person or something like that, right? Maybe. Now, I would describe it as a knowing, or as a higher mind, or a consciousness, like a conscious force, right? But there's a little bit of information in there. And if there's information in there, that's a concept, that's mind. But it's so tenuous, the information, isn't it? Anybody that's ever experienced this intuition that I speak of, you know what I'm talking about. And it's this glowing knowing. It's this tenuous information. And you do sense that it's coming from a higher mind, like the tree, or at least the branch on the tree, right? Interesting. But it's not this heavy, dense thinking like your mind. When you think, it's a higher mind. It's more spacious. It's less dense, right? That's the consciousness. It's mostly consciousness. So that's the complete answer to her question. She was asking, how can the soul choose to reincarnate if it's pure consciousness? Well, it's because it's not really pure consciousness. It's closer to pure consciousness than you, the leaf on the tree. But yeah, there's more to it than that. So that's the complete answer. Thank you, whoever you were, for asking that question, because I got to use some of this higher knowledge that I have, and I was hoping we'd get to talk about some of that stuff today. Okay, I'm going to take a quick break, and I mean quick. I just need to go to the bathroom. So I'll be right back, and then we're going to do more questions. So just sit tight for a minute. You guys can smoke and joke while I'm gone. Please don't smoke. It's bad for you. I'll be right back. All right. I'm back. Oh, hold on. I forgot one thing. I was going to show you guys something. Man, that shit's loud. Can you guys hear that? It's like a helicopter flying over. They're coming to get us. All right. Do not get this book unless you're really ready for it. No, I'm not going to show you the name. Just hop on, excuse me. Just hop on Google and type in Hermetic Philosophy. It's a short book, but it's powerful. It's so powerful, you could use it to enhance your life or destroy your life. And if you don't know what you're doing, you could destroy it. This is like the spiritual nuclear secret. You might not be ready for this yet. Someday you will. And I have to say, everybody, you are on the master's journey. You will be ready for it eventually. Hermetic philosophy. All right. Let's get back to your questions, everybody. I like this question. Actually, hold on. Let me do a twin flame question first. We'll come back to manifesting. Let's see. I do like that question, actually. Let me make sure I know how to say your name properly. Ayala Chen. Hope I said that right. Ayala Chen, 4682, asks, what if you're casually dating your twin and you can't find the strength to break up completely because they're still showing some interest and you're growing slowly and kind of see what's going on? Do you feel guilty about breaking up with them? Is that what it is? Because you don't have to. You don't have to be with them. And if you are not getting out of a relationship that you don't want to be in simply because you're worried about hurting the other person, that's not a good reason. And all you're doing is prolonging the inevitable, and you're going to make it harder in the long run. Sorry, give me a second. I'm looking for another comment from somebody. Okay, it's gone. I just like them too much and like seeing them, but I want more. Yeah, I don't know. Ayla, I think I maybe ask you some more questions to find out for sure if what I'm about to say is true or not. But just based on the things you're saying right now, that doesn't sound like a twin flame connection. Because if you like them too much and you like seeing them, they're going to run. They're going to run. This is the part, dude, 8 years ago when I first started, I came onto the scene in the English-speaking twin flame space, and I just started pissing people off, man. I really started shaking the table, and something beautiful happened. People who really met a twin flame emerged and made their way to my YouTube channel. And they realized that what I was saying fit their experience. And you could even prove that those people really had met another incarnation of their soul, and that the other people who just think this is a romantic connection had not. And the difference is this: any kind of an emotional attachment to your twin flame whatsoever makes them run. Any preference, if you have any preference at all, I like them, I want to be with them, right? A preference. If you have any kind of a preference, if you have any kind of a preference, they're going to run away. They're going to run away. So if this person is not running away from you right now, that doesn't sound like a twin flame to me. The thing that makes the experience of meeting a twin flame and interacting with a twin flame unique is that the only thing you can do to get them to stop running is to go beyond this thinking mind which has preferences. You experience yourself as this deeper consciousness. It can't be understood. And it's at that level, at the soul level, where there are no preferences, really. And we kind of just talked about that. At least going beyond the mortal human and going into the branch or the tree would make that so from your perspective. You would not really have a preference about what's going on at all, but instead you would just be experiencing yourself as oneness. There would be no thought process or preferences or duality of mind. I do or I don't. I like them, I don't like them. Duality, mind, thought, right? Yin and yang, separation. You would just be existing. And nothing that happens or does not happen outside of you would bother you. And that's what makes them stay. So that's what's unique about this. Let's see what your follow-up comment is here. So you're saying, I'm sure it's my twin. I'm experiencing oneness in all the signs, but because of 3D constraints, it had to develop super slow. They run when I push for more. Okay. Well, like I said at the beginning, I would have to talk to you more, and I might find out that you did meet a twin flame, and you're just trying to communicate with me the best way that you know how. You know, depending on where you're at in this process on the journey, I guess you could explain some of it that way. I'd have to talk to you to get more information, but if you're sure you met a twin flame, I'll just treat it that way right now for the sake of answering this question for you. I guess I don't really understand what the dilemma is, because you're saying that you don't really like them and you don't really want to be with them. So just don't be with them. You don't have to be with them. That's one of the myths about twin flames, is that you're destined for each other or whatever. So I guess, you know, give me some more information here about that. I don't know what the dilemma is, because you can just say, hey, I don't think we're right for each other. I had a great time. You know, thanks a lot. Thanks for everything. Maybe we can still be friends and catch up every once in a while, but I need to move on, and just leave it at that. You don't need to justify yourself or explain yourself. You don't owe people an explanation, not even your twin flame. Okay, she said, I do like them, but I feel like I am ready to be with them completely while they're a bit more guarded. Oh, I get it. So there's still some of this cat and mouse stuff going on with your twin flame. Well, I'm glad that we cleared that up. Ayala Chen, I'm glad that we cleared that up. You do feel like you like them and that you're ready to be with them completely, but they are still a bit guarded. That makes sense to me. That does sound like twin flame stuff. Yeah, well, the reason that they are a bit guarded is because you do like them and you feel like you're ready to be with them completely. The reason that they are guarded is, just flip that sentence around. You said, I do like them, but I feel like I am ready to be with them completely while they're a bit more guarded. And my answer is, they're a bit more guarded because you do like them and you feel like you are ready to be with them. So what you're telling me now is that you do have a preference and they're kind of being standoffish. They're not like all the way ready to commit to you yet. That's why. That's why. Because you have a preference. And again, this isn't soulmates. This is a good question. And I'm glad that we got that cleared up. That does sound like twin flame stuff to me. You know, if you've been on this journey for a while, you've been doing the meditations, you've been trying to not make them the purpose, right? You could have gotten to that point. Yes, you really could have, where you guys are still kind of interacting and talking, but they're still being a little bit standoffish. They're not all the way quite wanting to be with you. It's because of that. It's because you want them to be all the way with you. And remember, here's the solution. Here's the solution. I'm not just going to leave you hanging. Here's the solution. Ayala, you are not really that which is having a preference here. The self-concept, Ayala, the mind, the personality, the story of me, the self-concept who calls herself Ayala has a preference. That's not you. You are not a failure. You didn't make any mistakes. You just are not that which has a preference. That's all mind. That's all concept. Any preference at all is mind. And that's what pushes them away. That's what pushes them away. Again, this is the part that some people, it makes them really mad when I get up here and start talking about this stuff. But guys, this is not a journey of the mind. This is a journey of the soul. The mind is separateness. The mind is separation. That's what that word really means. And I even made a whole video about that, about the words separation, union, detaching, what those words really are. And it's available in your language. If you're watching me in a language other than English, look in the video description. It's in the video description. There's a link. Why do we use those words? Watch this video right now. Why do we use those words, right? The mind is separateness. The mind is what is causing this push-pull with your person, right? So the self-concept, Ayala, right? The ego mask, who calls herself Ayala, the thinker, the identity entity, is pushing onto your twin flame. The soul just is, and it is just existing now, and it doesn't care about what's going on outside. It's just okay with what is. So I hope that helps. You're not your mind. You are not who or what is causing that problem or asking these questions or having these preferences. You are not making a mistake. You are not a failure. You just are not that self-concept, which is doing those things. That's the real solution here. And again, some people, they get really mad when I explain this because they go, well, then what's the point? I want to be with them and I want to have a preference and I want them to want me. And I'm going, well, the point is for you to remember that you are not your mind. That's the point of this. The real purpose of meeting your twin flame is not for you to be with them. That can happen as a byproduct of remembering that you are consciousness. Yeah, that can happen, and it often does. But it's not who you are. And that's the purpose of this. The purpose of this is to experience yourself and remember yourself as this deeper and greater divine essence beyond the thinking mind. The thinking mind is what pushes them away. You and your twin flame are the same soul. You got to do soul stuff. And this does not work like soulmates. This is not soulmates at all, guys. Sorry. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. So there you go. That's the full and complete answer to your question. I hope that helped. I hope that helped. Let's see. You're welcome. Great. I'm glad that helped. Let's see what other questions we have here. Okay. Here's a decent question. Um, are Nelgs 726? Are Nelgs RN Elgs 726? I hope I'm saying that right. They said, Kurt, I'm doing my ascension for a year and a half. I lost my feelings for my twin flame. I don't care if she likes me or not for real, but I'm not so present most of the time during the day. Is it still the same? Yeah, so essentially what you're asking me is you've been trying to focus on your ascension for the last year and a half. You're genuinely trying to move on from this person. You have moved on from them, and you're focusing on your ascension, um, but you haven't experienced presence most of the time. And you want to know if you're doing this right. Am I still doing this right? Right? I think that's basically what you're asking me. At the end, you said, is it still the same? Am I still having an awakening? Right? I think that's basically what you are asking me. And okay, good. Thank you. So confirmed. That's your question. So I really like this question. Here's why this is a good question, because it exposes the dichotomy and paradox of genuine spiritualism, of non-duality. Do you guys remember earlier when I explained to you the difference between singularity and relativity, right? Singularity and duality. One, single, dual, two. Remember that? And again, if you're watching in another language, this is available to you in Spanish in the video description. There's a Google Drive link. Look in the video description for a Google Drive link. You can download all of these teaching tools, all translated into Spanish. There's no spam or any virus or any of that crap. Just go to that Google Drive link and you can download this. Anyway, so remember earlier when I explained how paradoxical oneness is, singularity, the one, the source. Remember that? And I explained, yeah, it neither is existence nor is it in existence. Singularity, oneness, right? The soul or the higher self, that divine essence that you are beyond the mind and the body. Because remember, your body, mind, soul. So the mind is thinking and emotion. What's the soul? Well, the soul, we did a deep dive on that earlier, but it's essentially consciousness from your perspective, a mortal human, a leaf on the tree. When you experience the soul or the higher self, it's more like consciousness. So we'll just call it consciousness. And consciousness is not this or that. It is not thing nor nothing. It is not existing, nor is it not existing. It is neither existence nor inexistence. It's neither of those, and you can't understand. Right? Remember that? We talked about that. Okay. So the paradox that you are experiencing are Nelgs 726. I hope I said that right. You're saying, hey, I think I've been doing my ascension properly for the last year and a half, but I don't feel like this continuous state of presence. Am I doing it right? And I think my answer to you, the simple answer at the beginning here, is going to be, yeah, you probably are. But notice how you, not you, but the mind, the little me, not you, not the big you, but the little me, the mind is asking, am I doing this properly? I'm not present all the time. Am I doing this properly? Well, why would we be asking that question? Well, because the mind is seeking an outcome or a goal. Past, future. Past, future. I'm not enlightened. I am enlightened. I'm not enlightened. I am enlightened. I got to get to the goal. I got to get to the outcome. I have to become something. If I am spiritual, then I am going to be experiencing a state of oneness and presence 100% of the time. Well, that's not exactly how it works. Really, whatever you're currently experiencing right now is your experience right now. And it's only the mind which is not okay with that. It's the little me that's not okay with that. And it wants to become something. Somebody once asked, I think it was Yogananda, they go, hey, Yogananda, you got to enlightenment. How did you do it? And he goes, well, when I got here, I realized that what took me so long is that I was trying to get here. And you're like, well, what am I supposed to do? Right? Because I want to get to enlightenment. Well, what Yogananda means when he says that is it's the separate self. It's the mind, the ego mask, the little me, which feels separated from everything. The self-concept, right? So in my case, Kurt, right? The self-concept, which is separation. We've talked about that today. It's this separate self that wants to get to an outcome or a goal. I'm here, I got to get there. I'm here, I got to get there. I am separate from the goal over there. I'm here, I got to get to that outcome where I am spiritual. I need to become that. That's the mind. So when Yogananda said, what took me so long is that I was trying to get here, what he was talking about was the mind. The mind, the ego, the self-concept is what is trying to get to enlightenment. And when he got to enlightenment, he was like, wait, I was never trying to get here. The mind was trying to get here. All I did was release identification with that which wants to become. Right? And it's this. It's the oneness. The oneness is who you already are. It was there on day one, the newborn baby. The newborn baby is only experiencing awareness. It's not sitting there thinking about who it is. There's no clump of retained thought and emotional imprints. Right? That comes later, like 7 or 8 years old. The newborn baby is not thinking about who it is. It is just existing as consciousness. It is only aware. And it is this non-duality of awareness, the oneness, the single I am, which is the true self beyond mind. And it doesn't become anything because it's not duality. It's not this system where I'm here and I got to get there. Because you could be sad and then become happy, right? You could be mad and then be relieved later, feel a sense of relief, or worried and then relieved, right? That's duality. Those are emotions. Emotions are not bad. That's just what that is. But this is only awareness, and it's not trying to become. And so, excuse me. It's not trying to become anything. The mind wants to become. And last thing, you're not going to necessarily exist continuously and perpetually in a state of presence. The real difference that you'll experience is a radical decrease or almost complete end to all suffering, even when there are emotions. You don't suffer through them. That sounds weird to some people because they think, well, if I'm sad or mad, that's suffering. Well, yeah, but you are not that which is getting sad or mad. You are not the self-concept. You are not the ego. And when you get to enlightenment, two things are going to happen. First of all, you're going to go, wait, I always was. I was never that which was trying to get here. Number two, when there is an emotion or an upset, it's like it's out here. And the emotion is going on, but you're not suffering. It's like that. It's subtle but profound. That's enlightenment. And two, you can on purpose choose the emotions that you want to have. Like joy. You can experience joy on purpose. If you're going to choose an emotion, what emotion would you pick? Joy, right? So RL Negs, I hope that answers your question. You said, you got my ego. Thanks. You're welcome. My ego felt exposed. Kurt, thank you. It's just a distraction of my ego to trick me on my phase of awakening. I realized it just now. Thank you, Kurt. You're welcome. The ego is always trying to get somewhere and become something. Very good. Let's see. What other questions do we have here? This is a good question. Let's see. I always say your name wrong, by the way. No. We've had this conversation before. Dafina Dafshala. I think it's you. You have a different name that you go by, but your screen name here today is Dafina Dafshala. She says, hi, Kurt. The twin flame is only for awakening and then separation. Because we have become aware of the existence of our inner love. What does this mean? I saw this comment in one of your videos. Dafina Dafshala, you saw a comment on one of my videos and it said, the twin flame is only for awakening and then separation because we have become aware of the existence of our inner love. What does this mean? Well, I can tell you what it should mean. I don't know that the person who left this comment meant the same thing that I'm about to tell you. Let's actually start with that. Maybe they did. Maybe they did. But usually when I see stuff like that, it's the mythology, right? It's the twin flame mythology. And I can tell that's probably what it was because of the way that they are using the word separation, right? So right off the bat, they are referring to separation as a relationship status with your twin flame. That is not what that word is. Once again, that's the mind. All of the great spiritual masters, Buddha, well, not Buddha, because that was a long time ago and it was in a different language, but especially in modern times. So like Ram Dass, Yogananda, Alan Watts, Eckhart Tolle, right? Rupert Spira, so the real spiritual meaning of the word separation is mind. The real meaning of the word union is the soul or the higher self, or I am, the great I am. You are all of it, this unity, this oneness with all. And again, if you're just catching me right now, if you just logged in, I have a video where I did a deep dive about that topic, what the words really mean, and how if you actually start using them properly, you could even hear from your twin flame. You might get them to come back if you start using the teachings, the real teachings under those words, the spiritual teachings. Stop using them as a relationship status. That's not what those words are. Find out what Ram Dass was talking about. Find out what Eckhart Tolle is talking about when he refers to the mind as separation. And if you want to watch that video, it's available in your language. Even if you're watching me in a language other than English, it's linked in the video description of every YouTube video. It's called, Why Do We Use the Words Separation, Union, and Detaching? Find out what those words really mean. It's in the video description. It's worth your time, guys. Those are the true twin flame teachings. That's why I feel confident in claiming that I have the true twin flame teachings. Well, that's part of the reason. The teachings are right under your nose, guys. You're using those words day in and day out. Day in and day out. Why? Why? Why are you using those words? That's not what those words mean, guys. Go find out what those words really are. Twin flames ripped off those words, and they are using them the wrong way. So go watch that video. So that's the first part of it. Dafina, she said, the twin flame is only for awakening and then separation. Now, she's right about that the twin flame is only for awakening. Absolutely. That part is true, but what is that? What is that? She went on to say, because we have become aware of the existence of our inner love. Now, this is the part that can be a problem, because as soon as I see language like inner love, you can go two ways. We can talk about the true spiritual teachings of oneness, the divine love of God, the divine love of I am, or we could be talking about the usual New Age healing stuff. Inner love, self-love. You got to love yourself. Inner love. Yeah, you got to find yourself and live your best life, right? Which is, it's got nothing to do with spiritualism. It's all over the damn internet. It's all the tired old New Age tropes that we've been hit over the head with for the last 15 years, actually since the 1970s. And I'm happy to say that most people are starting to reject that stuff now. Hallelujah! People are starting to realize, yeah, that's not it. Healing, self-love, fixing your inner child, those are good things. But it's not spiritualism. And by the way, if you are spiritual first, which is experiencing yourself as consciousness, then true healing is possible. The New Agers, what they tell you to do is start with healing, which is psychology, changing around the thoughts in your mind, feeling different emotions, right? Healing, psychology, mental and emotional work, which is good stuff. But what they're telling you is you start with that. And if you do that, you will become spiritual. What did we just talk about? The last question, I explained that you cannot become spiritual. And none of the great spiritual masters, not even one of them are going to tell you that healing causes self-actualization. Not a one. It's a myth. Healing does not make you spiritual. You are spiritual right now. You are not this thinking entity. The thinking entity, the self-concept, wants to become. You just got to realize that you are not that. You are not the mind. That's the first chapter of this book. You are not your mind. You are not your mind. The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. Essentially the modern day Buddha. Available in every language. The Power of Now. This is the best beginner's book. Best beginner's book. Now, that's what most people are talking about on the internet on average today when they talk about become aware of the existence of our inner love. That might not be what this person meant, but I don't know. I don't know, so I'm just going to address both possibilities. And that's the first one, which is the mythology, which is that you got to do healing and then you'll become spiritual. When anyway, if you wanted to do healing, what you really got to do is remember that you are spiritual. And then you can do healing. And if you do it that way, it actually works. Most people start with healing to become spiritual, and that never happens. That day never comes. If you remember that you are spiritual first, then you can actually heal the mind. You got to do it in that order. Your consciousness. Consciousness heals the mind. You don't fix the mind to become consciousness. You remember that you already are consciousness to fix the mind. Now, let's talk about what I hope this person did mean, Dafina. Because truly becoming aware of the existence of your inner love in a spiritual context, genuine spiritualism, would be where you experience yourself as this everything. You are this deeper divine essence. You are all of it. And you see no difference at all between the yin and the yang. And I know a lot of you already have had this experience. This oneness. You felt this oneness and you felt this love in your heart. And it was this deep divine love, not romantic love, not eros, not romantic love, not that, but agape love, divine love, the love of God. You're only able to see the perfection of everything. And I don't mean good. Perfect in this sense is not the same as good. Perfect is just everything is as it should be. All is one. So I hope that's what she meant. The real, and this person, whoever left that comment, they were not wrong about the awakening part. Yeah, meeting your twin flame is only for awakening. That's all this is, guys. There are many doorways to awakening. Twin flame is just one of them. Eckhart Tolle, he did not meet a twin flame. And no, his wife Kim is not his twin flame. His awakening was long over before he ever even met her. And he'd already written this book, I believe, by the time he met her. No, guys, his awakening was triggered by anxiety, life circumstances. I've got a friend who had something similar. This was about 25 years ago. Life circumstances. He had a severe health issue happen. And all of this stuff happened all at once in his life. And it threw him into a tailspin. He went into a dark night of the soul. And then when he came out of it, Kundalini, psychic intuition, visions about the future, out-of-body experiences, merging with God, divine oneness, the numbers, right? The repeating number patterns and synchronicities, all of it. And He didn't have to work at it. It just happened. It happened spontaneously. He didn't have to work at it. This is another thing, and this is available if you're watching me in a language other than English. Just look in the video description. There's a link to this article if you're watching me in English or in a different language. Go find the link. It's in the video description. And it'll translate into your language. So if you're watching me in Spanish and you find the link down below, you click that link, it'll translate into Spanish. You can read this whole thing in Spanish or English, whatever language you're watching me. This is Frontiers in Psychology. Frontiers in Psychology, peer-reviewed research paper on spontaneous spiritual awakenings. Notice they use the word union. What is that word doing there? Why would they be using the word union? Are they talking about twin flames? Of course not. These are psychologists, guys. It was peer-reviewed by college professors. This is real peer-reviewed science. And they're also talking about Kundalini. Go check this out, guys. If you met a twin flame, this is what happens to you. It's spontaneous. You don't have to work at it. It just happens. And this is what happened to Eckhart Tolle. This is what happened to my friend. He didn't meet a twin flame. So your twin flame is just one way to trigger the awakening. Now, it just so happens that if you make the true spiritual journey the goal, get into this line. Instead of this line, the twin flame obsession, get out of this line. You need to be far more interested in genuine spiritualism, not the New Age stuff, real spiritualism, than you are your twin flame. If you do that, instead of chasing them, they come back. You're not doing anything to get your person back at all. And yes, Dafina, also becoming aware of the existence of our inner love. That's right. Absolutely. Absolutely. You will know that you are God. You will know that you are all of it. Once again, that word God, as soon as I say, you'll know that you're God, some people might think that sounds like crazy talk. Oh, you're a fucking crazy person. And you think you're going to jump off of a cliff and fly like a bird because you're God and you're all powerful and you have this big fucking ego and you're going to control the whole universe and control humans and you decide everything and call all the shots and you're a big man with a big white beard sitting in a throne up in heaven saying yes to some prayers and no to other prayers and you're going to punish sinners and choose who goes to heaven and hell. Yeah, because you're God. Yeah, right. That's not God. Again, guys, religion destroyed the meaning of the word God. You got to take out all the dogma and all the theology. This is why a better word is the all. The all. It's the whole universe. Everything inside, outside the universe. All of it. The all. Right? God. You will experience this inner love, your divine existence, and you will know that you are the all. You will know that you are God. And it's not an ego trip. It's not the kind of God that religion would have you believe in, which really is a man with a big fucking ego and probably a very small penis. I'm God and I'm badass. Look at me. Yeah, you got a small man complex? That's the God of religion. It's fucking bullshit. Jesus, one of the most widely misunderstood spiritual masters of all time. You can thank Christianity for completely destroying your perception of Jesus, and I'm not sorry. It's false. It's fake. Christianity, modern Christianity, it's bogus. I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry. You go read this book. It's called Jesus Christ Zen Master. After Enlightenment, you go back and read the teachings of Jesus and you're going to say, oh, that's what he was talking about. You're going to say that again and again reading this book. You're really going to understand it this time. Jesus said, I and the Father are one. Jesus said, I and the Father are one. He was aware of the existence of this inner love, this divine love, this divine perfection of everything, of the whole universe. Right, Dafina? That's your question. He was aware of the existence of his inner love. He said, I and the Father are one. He also said, these things and more shall you also do. He was very clear. Jesus made it very clear to everybody, I'm not special. I'm not special. I am as you are. Very poorly misunderstood Jesus. By the way, Jesus is another person that I often point to scuttle some of the ideas people have about what spiritual really is, like what it means to be a spiritual person. Because everybody thinks you have to be like Yoda from Star Wars. You have to be a Yoda caricature and act a certain way. You have to act spiritual. You got to be like Yoda. Really, what about the time Jesus stormed into the temple and started flipping over tables and yelling, and he chased the bankers out of the temple with a whip, and he was pissed? What about the book of John, where Jesus wept, Jesus crying, Jesus angry, and then there's other times where Jesus was happy? So tell me again what spiritual looks like. And then you got Alan Watts over here drinking and smoking. Of course, it was the 1960s. I mean, everybody was drinking and smoking. And he was kind of a funny guy, right? He was kind of a rascal. You know, he would tell jokes and stuff. So, Dafina, thank you for your question. That was a great question. Next, we got a super chat. My Lily Bird, thank you for the super chat. She said, I don't know if you remember me. I asked you, how do I know if my spiritual awakening was because I met my twin flame or because my life was a shit show? Anyway, he contacted me 2 weeks ago. Now silence. Yeah, I remember you. I don't know. I'd have to talk to you, though. Again, I'd have to talk to you to find out if it's really your twin flame. This is how you tell. Again, this is how you tell. Again, I'll link this article in the video description down below for you. In English and any other language. Any other language that you're watching me in, if you click the link, you'll be able to read this in your language. It's Frontiers in Psychology, peer-reviewed research paper on spontaneous spiritual awakenings. Go check it out. Link in the description. English, Spanish, Hindi, whatever language you speak, if you're watching me. This is peer-reviewed by college professors. These are psychologists and paranormal researchers. Frontiers in Psychology is a prestigious psychology journal. This is peer-reviewed science, controlled science, and they're talking about anybody that's having an awakening, right? This is how you tell if you met a twin flame. It just so happens that there's lots of other ways to trigger a spontaneous awakening. So, Lily Bird, what I would say to you is, first of all, to the first part of your question, was it your twin flame that triggered it, or was it because your life was a shit show? Well, we'd have to look at the timing. The normal template to tell if it's your twin flame is step 1, you meet them. Step 2, there's a very short bubble phase, 4 to 8 weeks. It's all perfect. It's romantic. It's awesome. They reciprocate, right? It's called the bubble phase. 4 to 8 weeks, very short. Step 3, they take off running, and usually they don't give you a reason. Or if they do, it's not a good reason. If they seem to have a good reason, it's easy for you to poke holes in it, right? There's never really a good reason. They just go. They just leave. They take off. They ghost you. They reject you. They put you in the friend zone. Step 4, you crash and burn. You go into this dark night of the soul, obsessive thinking. There's this loss of identity. I don't know who I am anymore. You feel like you don't know who you are anymore. It's a complete loss of identity. Who am I? There's this sense of meaninglessness. Did I mention the obsessive thinking? Oh my God. And you can't turn it off. It's like it's happening to you. You're not trying to do it. You can't eat. You can't sleep. You guys, you cannot function. By the way, very interesting. Over 90% of the people who met their twin flame, your income or job situation changes right before Dark Night of the Soul in such a way so that you are able to have this experience called Dark Night of the Soul, all the suffering, it's really terrible. And because you can't function, you can't think, you can't do anything, you can't do your job. Well, guess what? Something changed right before Dark Night of the Soul. Right before. And like for me, I was given a promotion to another department right before Dark Night of the Soul. And I wasn't expected to do anything. My boss was MIA, missing in action. She wasn't giving me any work. Nobody was watching me at all. Nothing. I just showed up to work and did fuck all day. And that situation began right before Dark Night of the Soul, which is great because can you imagine going through the Dark Night of the Soul and then losing your job? You have no income? I don't think I would have been able to take that. I think that would have ended pretty bad. Oh my God. No, I was allowed to have this experience of suffering without any risk to my 3D situation. I could still pay my bills and have a bed to sleep in while going through this experience of suffering. And then right after the Dark Night of the Soul ended, I went back to my old job and I had to do work again. This happens to over 90% of people who met their twin flame. And I already know there's a bunch of you watching that are sitting there going, oh my God, Kurt, yeah, that happened to me too. What the hell? Okay, so that's step 4. Step 5, after the Dark Night of the Soul, 80% of you will have Kundalini. 100% of you will have psychic intuition through the heart or solar plexus, information about future events that come true. Very important. Out-of-body experiences, which could include things like viewing yourself from an outside perspective. You could be like meditating and then feeling like you're watching yourself or literally seeing yourself, or you feel yourself traveling and moving around the room or going into your neighbor's house. Heart chakra opening, we kind of talked about that. That's this intense divine love that you feel in your heart. And it's a lot. When it happened to me, I thought I was going to pass out. Oh my God. A sense of oneness. You feel you're like overtaken by this intense sense of oneness with God or the universe. Like I'm all of it. And you don't understand. It's just a knowing. I am all of it. Right? The repeating number patterns everywhere, strange synchronistic events. You feel like you're living in a video game suddenly and like nothing is real. You feel like you're in the Twilight Zone and you're not really part of this physical world anymore. This all starts to happen right after the Dark Night of the Soul. And then step 6, what would happen if you let your twin flame go and stop chasing them and stop focusing on them? Well, my lily bird, you were the one that asked. This is your question. It's your $10. You said, he contacted me 2 weeks ago. Well, I don't know. Did you let him go for a little bit? Maybe you took my advice. Maybe you decided, I'm going to take Kurt's advice. I'm going to stop chasing. I'm going to start meditating. I'm going to take all my focus off of him. I'm not checking for any of your follow-up comments. Apologies. Here's one. You just said, Maya Lilybird, you said, I'm just going to be grateful that I had the awakening and go on my way instead of letting my mind trying to figure it out. Yeah, that I highly recommend. I highly recommend. And anyway, that is what you got to do. If the guy is your twin flame, that's exactly what you got to do. You got to treat this like it's your awakening only. This is your path towards full-blown Buddha-level enlightenment. That's what this is, the complete end to suffering. And you're not going to worry about death or illness or any of it. Nothing is going to bother you. You're going to be so unbothered. It's awesome. Next question. We got a super chat from Angels and Wolves. Thank you. She said, what's the word, Kurt? I hope all is well. So Jack, another participant here. Okay. Jack has a question for you. I'm just showing my support. All right, let's do Jack's question. Let me look back here. Here it is. Jack is asking, okay, so can someone please explain my experience if this is not witchcraft? I've been dealing with this for 5 years since my awakening. 3 car accidents, poverty, health issues, and the list goes on. Wow. I'm sorry to hear that. That's a lot. Are 10 files entering my apartment out of thin air? What? Oh. What else? Anyone having to deal with witchcraft or demonic oppression on this journey. So Jack, you think you may be having a spiritual awakening. Remember, there's no twin flame journey. There's no twin flame journey. There's only an awakening. Is it possible for you to be dealing with witchcraft? You've been dealing with this for 5 years, 3 car accidents, poverty, health issues. It's possible. Attack on my solar plexus and sacral chakra repeatedly these days. I didn't even think I was under witchcraft or really know about it until the situation becomes undeniable, and you're under years of attack. It's undeniable. Not everyone's journey is the same. It's possible. It's possible. I don't want to say, so I'm going to address your question from that point of view, from that context. But before I do, Jack, I just want to say, as a disclaimer, if you will, that I'm not saying that what you are experiencing is witchcraft. Could it be? Sure. And I'll address that. But first, just in case, because right now you're talking about attacks on your solar plexus and sacral. Well, to me, that sounds like a medical issue, or it could be a medical issue. And whenever somebody starts saying stuff like that, I have to put this qualifier in here, because I don't want to tell you that it's a spiritual attack when you actually have some kind of gastrointestinal disorder or something like that. You should probably get that checked out at minimum, just to disqualify that it's any kind of a health condition or anything. Because if I tell you, oh yeah, it's witchcraft, then you're never going to go to the doctor, and you could blame me if you get sick or die. And so I'm not a doctor. You should go to the doctor anytime there's any kind of physical or seemingly metaphysical. Are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? And there's all kinds of spiritual myths on the internet. So I just wanted to address that. Now, let's talk about, could it be witchcraft? Sure. And I'm going to tell you guys a story that I don't share a lot because I don't want you guys to ruminate and obsess. Here's the thing. The ego wants to be spiritual. The ego loves to become spiritual. I'm going to open the shades, but I'm with you. I'm with you. I'll keep talking. The ego loves to make an identity out of being a spiritual person. And it loves stuff like this because being attacked or being some kind of a special person in this community, it lends to the identity of self, the not the real self, but the self concept, right? And I'm not saying that's what you're doing, but just go with me here. I just want to explain this part first, because almost 100% of you watching, you will not experience spiritual attacks. And I've dealt with this time and time again with my paid coaching students. The minute the topic of spiritual attacks is raised, everybody thinks they're having a spiritual attack, and everybody wants to be special, and everybody wants to, oh, I've got this one really special problem now. I've got this dilemma. Look at me. I'm really a spiritual person now because I'm getting spiritually attacked. Yeah, look at how spiritual I am. Do you see how that works? That's not spiritualism. That's a personality type. That's an identity. It's somebody who's identified with getting spiritually attacked, and they think that makes them like really spiritual. And I warn people, you first of all, don't go there. You're going to make an identity out of being spiritual. That's the ego wanting to become spiritual. And it doesn't work that way. That's new age slop. It really is. It's new age slop. Karen Canal. I'll do your question next. But anyway, back to Jack's question. So it's true that you could be someone who has awakened to consciousness, which is spiritualism, and you're getting spiritually attacked, but it's so extremely rare. And I've only encountered it a couple of times. I've worked with thousands of people over the last 8 years. Thousands, guys, not just the people in my coaching program even, right? 8,000 people there, but also the general public. And people that have experienced a real spiritual attack or some kind of witchcraft or something like that are always going to be somebody who has a big reach, somebody who can affect a lot of people. Who do we know here on this live stream that has a big reach and I can talk to a lot of people and have an effect on a lot of people? If you were the ruling elite, again, I've got a side project over here. Look me up. Look me up. This is another video sharing platform. Karen, I will answer your question next. You do not need to keep posting it in the chat. Thank you. Go over here and look me up. New World All-Star. All-Star is one word, A-L-L-S-T-A-R. Now, I don't know, Jack, if you are one of those rare cases. I don't know. I'm just telling you what I know. The only time I've ever seen somebody who is getting spiritually attacked is when they have a big reach and they can reach a lot of people and have an effect on a lot of people. It's possible that there's an exception. I'll talk about that in a second. But the reason I'm telling you about this is because I talk about this stuff over here. There are individuals on Earth and beings who these individuals work with who are engaged in spiritual warfare. That's a real thing. And one of the first videos I ever posted over here is called Spiritual Warfare. I highly recommend you go check it out. My point is, these beings or vermin, even Eckhart Tolle has talked about this. There's these like energy vampire demon things that the elite, they send out to attach to people. But guys, there's almost 8 billion people in the world. Are there enough of these entities to attack everybody who is spiritual? Maybe the best thing to do would be to go after the people that maybe have some kind of an influence over a large audience. That to me seems more logical. Like, instead of attacking each individual spiritual person, you're going to go after somebody like Kurt. And I have some news for you. Yes, I've been spiritually attacked multiple times. And I'll even tell you what that looks like. And the only other people that I've ever come across over my 8 years who are confirmed genuinely having a spiritual attack are other people in positions of influence, other YouTubers that met their twin flame, and stuff like that. And it makes perfect sense. Those are the only people I've ever come across that have legit had a confirmed, verified spiritual attack. Excuse me. And it makes sense because we have a wide reach. We can reach a lot of people. Yeah, those are the people you're going to go after. If you're the bad guys, those are the people you're going to go after. And what a spiritual attack feels like is there's kind of two things. The first one is you're going to be lured into situations that aren't good for you over and over and over again. You're going to keep seeing that pop up. You're going to see like toxic people approaching you that aren't good for you, and they're going to have something to offer you, like, I don't know, money or sex or whatever, right? And if you're a guy, or even if you're a gal, and you're on this journey, and here comes like a really fucking hot guy, oh my God, he's like Jason Momoa, right? And you're ready to go, right? You're like, let's do it. And you get involved with this guy, and then he ends up being some kind of a toxic narcissist, and he puts you through hell, right? And you make all these bad decisions, stuff like that. That's one thing. Another form that spiritual attacks show up as are literally a spiritual attack. So I've had them where I'm just sitting there relaxing, and it's like this entity, you can feel it like taking you over, because I'm sitting there just chilling. I'm just chilling out. I'm all present even. I could be meditating or something. And then out of nowhere, it's like this force overtakes me, and I feel this really powerful, strong sense of fear, like primal fear, like something really bad is about to happen. So bad, it's like I just want to run away. Like the last time it happened, I was sitting out in my garage, chilling out, and it happened. It started happening, and I was like, I got to go inside. I got to go in my house. Like, I don't know, somebody's going to drive past my house and start shooting at me. You know what I mean? Like this primal fear, like something really bad is about to happen. And it was really strong. And associated with it was also like this intense thinking. Remember, I started with just feeling very zen, very still, very present. And then immediately there was that sense of fear, and then just thinking, obsessive, like all these like end of the world type scenarios. And this all happened instantaneously. Now, how did I get out of it? Well, I turned up the presence like a light dimmer switch. I turned it all the way up. And I remembered I'm not this thinking or emoting. I'm not that. And because I didn't identify with the emotions or the thoughts, it's like it gave up. It literally took like 30 seconds and it went away. So it had to be some kind of an entity trying to attack me. And then get this, right after the whole ordeal was over, I received this really powerful intuitive hit. I was overcome with this divine sense of knowing. And it said, you are being protected. You are safe. And you guys, I don't think I'm special. But gosh darn it, somehow I ended up in this position. Somehow I ended up in this position. And I'm here teaching it. Text, history, tradition, I appreciate it, but everybody has questions. And I'm only one person. I can only do this one at a time. Karen, I already told you that I'm going to answer your question. If you post your question one more time, I'm going to block you. Stop spamming my chat. Everybody, please. Decorum. Decorum here. You guys, have some manners. I can't answer all of your questions. I've been going for 3 hours. I haven't had anything to eat. I haven't had any drink of water, and I'm probably going to go for another 45 minutes. So just give me a break. Now, Jack, back to your question. I just explained to you everything I think I know about spiritual attacks. Witchcraft, that could be another thing. It could be that there's some person that has it out for you, man. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Somebody who decided they don't like you, you pissed them off, you made them mad, whatever it is. The one thing that I know about witchcraft and even spiritual attacks is they only have power over you if you believe they do. And the one who believes is the mind, is the separate self. You don't need to do energy clearings. You don't need to go see psychics. You don't need to look into your crystal ball. Jack, the real way to get rid of spells and stuff like that is to realize that you are consciousness. Your true power is the great I am. Okay. I hope this shit keeps working. Fingers crossed. I don't know why, but the battery died. I have the thing plugged in and it fucking died. What's up with that? This charger jack work that great. I don't know. Hopefully it's still charging. Is it charging? It says it's charging. All right, well, keep your fingers crossed. I'm going to keep an eye on it. Okay, here's where I left off. The way witchcraft works is it's metaphysical. So spells, sorcery, this kind of thing. It's metaphysical, meta-mind. Meta-mind. It's mind. So when you are getting attacked, what is getting attacked is the separate self, the ego mask, the person, right? In this case, Jack. Jack is under attack, right? But that's not who you are. Who you really are is that deeper divine essence of consciousness. That's who you really are. And that's what dispels all the spells. Remembering that you are not the mind. The mind is what chooses to believe that it can be harmed by external forces. When you know that you are not the mind, you can't be damaged. And so spells, spiritual attacks, witchcraft, none of that stuff works on me because I know I'm not my mind. It's that simple. And yes, it works. So Jack, I wish you well. I hope you're okay. Try that out. Like I'm always recommending to everybody, read The Power of Now, meditate, stop believing that you're a victim. You could be sitting there right now thinking, Kurt, I already tried all that. That's the mind. The mind feels helpless. The mind feels like a victim. That's not you. That's not you. And you can't become spiritual. You can't get rid of the spell by becoming something. You just are spiritual, and that's what you're going to learn. That's what you're going to learn as a student of true non-duality spiritualism. I'm just checking the battery. Oh, it's going up. How about that? The battery is going up. It's at 5%. All right. Karen asked me a question about 50 times. And it's a good question. I like your question. And then there was a person, Spigot, is asking a super chat question. So I'll do yours next. But I told Karen I would do theirs first. Karen, your question was, how does gay and straight twin flame work? How does that work? Well, again, the true purpose of meeting a twin flame is that they trigger your awakening. That's what this is. It's not so that you can be with the person. And I've had a handful of these. I have. This is another reason why, by the way, I have made videos many times. Excuse me. Oh, Joey, you had a super chat question also. Okay. I'll do yours next, and then I'll do the other one. I've made several videos where I said, yeah, it doesn't matter if you're with your twin flame. You might not want to be with them. There might be barriers. Some people on the internet, again, part of the mythology is your twin flame is your perfect lover. You're supposed to be with them. Don't believe anybody when they tell you anything less. You are supposed to be with your twin flame. Yeah. And if you are a straight man and your twin flame is a gay woman, right? So you're a straight guy, she's a gay girl, then that's not real. That's not really twin flames. That's fake. You guys aren't twin flames, right? No, you guys could absolutely be twin flames. Here's another myth that people will tell you, and this myth is even worse. This is even more toxic. The myth is this. Oh, well, if you do your healing and do the twin flame journey properly and hold out hope long enough, right? If you do all that long enough, eventually your twin flame is going to not be gay anymore, and they'll be your perfect lover for you, and you guys will be together. Yeah, they're going to do their healing, which, by the way, is incredibly, what's the word? Homophobic, if you think about it. That's a pretty homophobic thing to say, and we don't want to do that. Guys, the purpose of meeting your twin flame is your awakening. So, will you be with them? I don't know, but I'll tell you what, the way that I teach twin flames, if anybody has more than a 0% chance of being with their twin flame, this is the way. I have never ever said that I guarantee that you're going to be with your twin and it absolutely has to be that way. And I guarantee if you take my course, you will be with your twin. It works every time. right? I've never said that. Now, what I do kind of guarantee, because this almost always happens, is you will feel better if you follow my teachings. There will be a lot less suffering. Yeah, that's true. But that you'll be with them for sure, I'm not God. I can't promise that. I mean, I am the all. I am the great I am in that sense. But as far as me being Mr. Matchmaker, twin flame wizard over here, I don't have a fucking magic wand. You know, I can't make this person be with you, and they're not going to change. They're not going to not be gay. Most people recognize the fact that gay people are born that way. So that's not going to change. Why then? Why did you meet them if you two can't be together? Well, because the purpose is not to be with them. The purpose is your awakening. Now, if you don't have any of those barriers preventing you from being with your twin, then yeah, if you're a straight guy and she's a straight girl, then it could be. It could be. The two of you could be together. Guys, I've explained this so many times, and I'm happy to explain it again. I love what I do. So, and again, if you're watching me in Spanish or any other language other than English, you can download this right now. You can download this right now. There's a link in the video description. This will be translated into your language. So if you're watching me in Spanish or Hindi or whatever, there's a link in the video description down below, a Google Drive link. This whole thing will be translated into your language. Right now, I have Spanish, is all. So if you're a Spanish speaker, look in the video description. There's a Google Drive link. There is no spam. There's no virus. I don't fuck around with that shit. Go check out that Google Drive link if you want a hard copy of this translated into Spanish. Okay, so this is Twin Flames, guys. Everybody's got all these weird ideas on the internet about what twin flames are supposed to be, and I've got the only not weird, actually scientifically valid reason. It's just reincarnation, guys. It's reincarnation. You guys are the same soul. Karen, I like your follow-up question, but are they attracted to you even though they maybe are gay or straight? Yes, that's true. They actually are still going to want to be interested in you, and it's going to seem strange to them. I've had, like I said, just a handful of these cases where it was like a straight man and a gay man. And the gay man was the feminine, and the straight man was the masculine. And the feminine knew there was no way this straight guy's going to be with him, but he still wanted to. And then the straight guy was like, why in the fuck do I want to be slightly more than friends with this other guy? This isn't right. I got to get out of here. And no, we're not going to go down the whole rabbit hole of, well, maybe the straight guy, the masculine, maybe he was actually bisexual or something like that. No, guys. No. Don't come at me with that fucking woke ass bullshit. If you're straight and you like girls, that's the way it is. This is a twin flame thing. This is 100% a twin flame thing. The guy is straight. He's not bi. He's not gay. And I remember even talking to my student, the feminine, the gay guy, and he even said that. He's like, Kurt, no, there's no way this guy is even remotely bi or anything. He told me, he goes, I'm a gay guy. I've got good gaydar. Right? Like radar, gaydar, right? You can tell, he knows. And I used to actually have a friend that was gay, and I've spent a lot of time with them. Yeah, you can tell, no, Kurt, there's no way this guy is even a little bit bisexual or any of that. But he did actually, there was a time when I let him go, I moved on. I let him go, I moved on. And it was like I was all the way done and I don't want to be with him anymore, right? Immediately, the masculine, the straight guy, was actually trying to be slightly more than friends. And it was like one of those moments, too. This didn't happen for any longer than about 5 or 6 seconds. Okay? And the straight guy, the masculine, caught himself and he was like, fuck this, I gotta get out of here. This is fucked up. Right? Because his biology took over and was telling him, yeah, you can't do that. But for just a split second, you could see the equilibrium. Because my feminine student, the so-called feminine, the gay guy, he was detached enough to still get that response from his twin flame. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting how that all played out? Now, after that little experience between the two of them, and again, it was like 5 or 6 seconds, right? The two of them, it was never the same. It was never the same after that. It was always awkward. They were business partners. So yeah, I mean, there is that. And that's completely a twin flame thing. And it's interesting. It's interesting to hear stories like that. But again, this, guys, back to this. Why is it like that? Well, because, guys, it's reincarnation. It's reincarnation. You're a soul, guys. You and your twin flame are the same soul. It's reincarnation. You guys really are the same soul. Your twin flame is just one of your past lives, guys. You don't have to reincarnate into the future. Every time you reincarnate, you don't have to go forward in time. You can go backwards. You can go ahead, you can go backwards, you can do anything you want to do, guys. So every time you've reincarnated, you've had a different birth year. That's what this says, birth year, right? So your twin flame back here, this is just an example. That's what this says, your twin flame, birth year 1988. And then your twin flame reincarnates all around in time. Look at all those different time periods. And then one day, your twin flame was born into the same year that you were born. And they were born into your body. And they were you. That's twin flames. And what's so great about this theory is it explains how you can be the same soul. It explains why your twin flame runs. It complies with pretty simple physics. There's not anything presumptuous or weird or even the slightest bit like pushing the science a little bit. This is pretty grounded. Your twin flame is one of your past lives, guys. There's a video on my YouTube channel in all the languages, whatever language you're watching me in. If you go to, there's a playlist. Go find my YouTube playlist. It's called Twin Flame Science. Twin Flame Science. And there's a video in there called What Are Twin Flames? And I explain this in depth. Like how you can tell they are one of your past lives. And because they are one of your past lives, that's why they run too. That's the real reason they run. It's a mechanism. It's not psychology. It's a mechanism. It's the twin flame push-pull. So that's the deal with gay twin flames. Karen, I hope that answers your question. You don't have to be with your twin flame. The purpose of meeting them is not to be with them. It doesn't matter if you are with them. It only matters that you met them. It just so happens that if you align with your soul and make that the purpose instead of them, that, yeah, they tend to come back. They do. They'll want to be with you. All right, we got 2 more super chats, and then I'm going to call it a day, guys. We've been going for 3.5 hours, and it's my pleasure, but I got stuff to do. Joey Forte Music. Thank you for your super chat. During Dark Night of the Soul, in the middle, I turned inward to start learning from it. Is that normal after my big epiphany? That's question number 1. Question number 2, How do I stop thinking about them when I have really let them go? Every few days they really pop up. Yeah. Well, that sounds like an authentic twin flame experience to me. I don't see any problems here. So during Dark Night of the Soul, in the middle of it, you just had this weird, maybe not weird, but unexplainable desire to go within and meditate and spend time in solitude, right? You just wanted to do that. And Karen, you're not going to be with them. Sorry, Joey. Let me just finish up. Karen, you will never be with them. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news. If you're a straight guy and he's a gay guy, you will not be together. It will never happen with a capital N. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But I could lie to you and go, oh yeah, if you do your healing really hard, they'll change and not be gay anymore. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. This is your awakening. This is your awakening. That's all you need. That's all you need is the awakening. Go get a soulmate. Go get a soulmate. Okay, back to Joey. Joey! Sorry about that. Of course you wanted to do that, Joey. Of course you wanted to just go within and be. You are awakening to consciousness. You're having this experience. Consciousness is exploding and growing within you. It just happens spontaneously. It happens spontaneously. You don't have to get it to happen. Yeah, well, that's part of this. Like if consciousness is exploding and growing within you, you are going to feel drawn to doing the things that are conducive to that, like going within, meditating, spending time in nature, being. Getting away from the news and the noise, cutting that stuff out. You're just going to want to do that. Consciousness is drawing you in to that. It's a very natural part of this process. And I'm not surprised to hear that you were having that experience. Of course you did. Of course you did. Your second question again was, how do I stop thinking about them when I have really let them go? Because every few days they pop up. Yeah, that's kind of a problem. That's the thing about this. When you let them go, you shut this down. You stop chasing them, you stop focusing on them, you let them go, and they come right back because you got rid of this push-pull. You eliminated it. And so they respond to that. And they don't even have to know that you let go, right? But you did. Now, the permanent solution, Joey, the permanent solution is not to just like manually, the hard way, like mentally, emotionally working through things, way of letting them go. That works temporarily, and maybe that's what you've been trying. But the real way to do it, the permanent way to do it, is to let go of the let goer. The mind is trying and struggling. It is trying to let go, right? And that works, like I said, temporarily. That's not going to work forever. The permanent fix is to not believe yourself to be the mind, that which wants to let go. The mind wants to let go over and over again. The mind wants to move on. The mind wants closure. And the mind can do that temporarily, but the real fix is to go beyond mind, right? Remember that it's not you who is seeking closure or trying to move on or to let go. You just remember that you are not that. You are not this mental character called Joey. Joey wants to let go of the person. The true self, the I am, which is beyond Joey, it's who you really are, is already the true self. It's already not Joey. You just need to experience yourself that way, and you don't become that. You don't become that. You just already are that. You already are this awareness of Joey. And I think you understand me, because it sounds like you've been on this awakening path for a while. And I hope you're still with us. I know that my video cut out for a while before I got to your question. But there you go. There's your question. Joey, that's how you really stop thinking about them and really let them go. You are not the thinker. You are not Joey. You are not trying to let go of the thinker. The thinker is always trying. The thinker wants to stop thinking, right? But that's not you. That's not who you are. All right, last question. I gotta go, guys. I love you guys. Oh, Joey, you are still here. Oh, very good. Awesome. You're welcome. I'm glad that helped. And again, remember, Joey, the mind, Joey, always wants to play that game. How do I let go? How do I stop thinking, right? The mind always wants to become. That's not you. The mind wants to accomplish. That's not you. You just are consciousness. You are the I am. All right. Last question, guys, from Spigot. Thank you for the super chat. I hope you're still with us, Spigot. S-P-I-C-U-T. I think that's what that says. Spigot. Like a faucet, right? Spigot? Like a water faucet? I think that's what that word is. Anyway, okay. Does the divine masculine feel anything for us in the separation? Were they conscious about our connection? Or until before they contact the feminine? Meditation should be done daily, and for how long would you suggest? 10 times. Okay, so when the divine masculine, the so-called masculine, when the so-called masculine, it's really just energy, right? When they run, when they are not talking to you, when they are not communicating with you, the fact is, and this really makes people mad, when I say this, you guys, because they want to believe that your masculine twin is solemnly suffering and they're soul searching and they just don't know what they're going to do. And I'm just so sad. And I don't know. I want to be with my divine feminine, but I just can't bring myself to do it right now. And for whatever reason, I can't do it. And I'm doing all this soul searching and I'm just hurting. And I can't quite bring myself to be with my feminine, even though I want to be with her. And I'm just this confused masculine that needs to do all this healing. Oh, right? That's the myth on the internet. Guys, let's get real for a second. If they're not talking to you, it's because they're not thinking about you at all. They're not. I'm sorry. We can fix that. They're not focused on you, guys. If you focus on your twin flame, they focus on anything but you. It's the twin flame push-pull. If they're not talking to you, if they're being cold and distant, if they're rejecting you, if they're ghosting you, if they've got you blocked, they're not giving a fuck. They're not. They're not. Straight up. Straight up, guys. They're not thinking about you. They're not feeling anything about you. I'm sorry. I'm just telling you the truth. Now, the next part of your question, Spigot, was, were they conscious about our connection? Not really. They might respond, and that's actually why they run. They might respond. So if you focus on them, if you're focusing on them and you're trying to figure out what to do about them, then they respond by running away and rejecting you, right? We get that. Okay. If, however, you let them go, and we just talked about that, like what does letting go look like? Well, what it looks like is going within and remembering that you are not the mind, you are not this identity of self, this self concept who wants to fix the situation and get the person to be with you and everything, right? That's not who you are. You are this deeper consciousness. And if you are aligned with your soul, which is that deeper consciousness, they come back. So what happens is they respond to your internal state. They don't consciously know they're doing that, though. So you can think of it like you're the feminine, you're the conscious twin, they are the masculine, they are the subconscious. You're the conscious, they're the subconscious. You do something, they respond. You focus on them, they respond by pulling away. You take your focus off of them and go within, they respond by coming back. So do they consciously know about the connection? No. Now, sometimes, because I know some people are going to hear that and they're going to go, that's not true, Kurt. My twin flame knows we're twin flames. Yeah. Just give it about a month or two. And when they take off and run away from you again, they're going to tell you, I don't think we're twin flames. I never believed that. Right now, if everything is okay and you guys are getting along, they might agree that you are twin flames because they think it sounds cute. But when they run away again, they're going to take that back. And they're going to say, I don't even believe in twin flames. You're nuts. That's what's going to happen. So no, they're not conscious of it, guys. There's only one thing, the mechanism, the push-pull. They respond. That's it. All there is this. And if you take this away, if you get rid of this, they stay. They respond to that too. So you're the conscious twin. They are the unconscious or subconscious. You could think of it like that. Next part of your question was until before they contact the divine feminine. Oh, that was part of the last bit of the question, right? Does the masculine feel anything for us in separation? Were they conscious about our connection or until before they contact the feminine? Yeah, they never do. They never do. They're never conscious of it. They respond to it, though. They do. They respond, but they don't know why. They're just going to respond, right? Last part of your question was, meditation should be done daily, and for how long would you suggest? 10 times? Well, you should do meditation daily. I recommend doing it 2 or 3 times a day. I tell students, beginner students, to do it in the morning after bed for 20 minutes and do it at night before bed for 20 minutes. Although you might not want to do it right before bed because if you're tired, you'll fall asleep while you're trying to meditate. So maybe like right after dinner is a better time to do it. But you can also do it during lunch. And actually, you should do it as much as possible. And I even tell people to do the 2 formal sit-down meditations in the morning and in the evening, 20 minutes. So do that. And sprinkle little micro meditations in throughout the day too, right? So like you're sitting at your desk, you're working at your job, and every hour, check your watch, and then every hour, you look away from your keyboard and you look around and you get grounded and you just listen. You listen to the sounds in the office. You look at things and you just look. You're not allowing the mind to carry you away, right? You do a meditation, but you do it for 1 minute. 1 minute, and then you go back to work. And doing these micro meditations is awesome. Doing them throughout the day, all day, every hour. In addition to your 2 formal sit-down meditations. And you could also have other like triggering events that remind you to meditate. So for example, getting in your car. Every time you get in your car, you meditate for a minute, right? You could turn the car on, turn on the heat or the air, whatever, and then meditate for a minute. Or when you get home, you walk in the door of your house, you close the door, you lock it, and you stop. And you just look. And you get into a meditative state, right? So you could do little micro meditations throughout the day. Now, Spigot, your question, I hope you're still with us here today. There's one thing about your question that I want to address. Because at the end of the question, well, just kind of the whole question, but at the end you said, meditation should be done daily, and for how long would you suggest, right? I read your question and I get the sense that you're going to try to use meditation as a contrivance to get your twin flame to come back. And remember, you can't be doing anything to get your twin flame to come back at all. Remember, it's a paradox, right? You're not doing anything to get your twin flame to come back. So if you're doing meditations or just generally spiritualism, in order to get your twin flame to come back, they're going to keep running because you're doing it to get an outcome. You want an outcome from your twin flame. You want a goal. You want them to come back, right? You're hoping that there will be some change or a result, and you can't be doing any of that. You can't be doing anything to get your twin flame to come back at all. You have to be doing the true spiritual journey for the sake of doing the true spiritual journey. You really got to get out of this line. The twin flame obsession. You can't bullshit the universe. You can't bullshit the universe, guys. If you're doing any of these things to get your twin flame back, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. It might work temporarily. You might have some kind of a breakthrough, and then your twin flame comes back, but they'll only come back for like a week or something, and then they'll take off again. No, guys, you can't be doing any mind stuff. You can't let the mind be in control here. The mind is what wants an outcome. The mind wants to stay in control, and it's going to use all of these teachings I'm giving you to try to do that. You got to let that one go, guys. You are not your mind. You are not on a twin flame journey. There's no twin flame journey. You are on your spiritual awakening path, and that's all. And I'm telling you, you guys, sorry, I'm getting over a cold. I'm telling you, you guys, there is nothing more important than your peace. Nothing more important than just being. Really, you guys. There's nothing for you to become. There's nothing that you need to do. That's all mind. And the mind is fine. But this is your opportunity to let go of suffering, guys. You can't force this person to be with you anyway. You might as well just let them go. Just let them go, guys. Live in peace. Stop chasing. You are not a problem that needs to be solved. You are divine and whole and perfect right now. That's who you are. That's your true nature. And that's what this journey is here to show you. So, thank you for your question. That was a great question. I don't think you are still here watching. So, if you're watching the replay, apologies. All right, everybody. Well, that's it for this one. I have to go. I hope you have a nice weekend. I'll be back next Friday for another live Q&A. How's my battery doing? Wow, we're up to 23%. How about that? All right, guys. I'll be back next Friday. I love you. Have a great weekend. Stop chasing your twin flame. All right, guys. I'll see you later. Bye.